I think this is an insult to my manhood.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, July 5th, 2020. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 1257.
This is No Agenda.
Sucking in soot and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
Fan from northern Silicon Valley, where I saw the best fireworks display in my life. And it was done by the public. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning. Typically, 4th of July, if I recall correctly, in San Francisco, is a big dud. It's a big loser because of the low-hanging cloud, and you can't see it, and it's just no good. And
Here
that
we
was...
go. Let me...
Yeah, go.
Yep. Except for one thing. Every 20 years or so, the fog never shows up.
And this was the year, huh?
This was the year. You look out, it was clear. It would have been a great fireworks display, but the idiots canceled it on the one day where you could actually see it.
the one time in 20 years.
Yeah. And so there was no fireworks display because they're all cowering in place.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the town of Richmond, who I guess they kind of had a wink, wink, nudge, nudge going on, there must have been 1,000 people shooting off fireworks. And it sounded like just a war zone. It was constant boom, 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 boom. It looked like a finale, like a finale of a regular fireworks show, only it was for 3.5 hours of just nothing but nonstop bombs. And I guess L.A. had the same phenomenon because there's a video going around of some helicopter flying over L.A. and it looks like a war zone.
A war zone. Yeah, we had a lot of personal fireworks, a lot of booms going off. For most, to me, this is very reminiscent of Amsterdam around New Year's. In the Netherlands, where you can't do anything, you can't have guns, it's nothing. Everything is verboten in the Netherlands. Anything fun you can't have. But New Year's, then everyone's allowed to go crazy. And so they buy up just so much. And a week before, up until sometimes 2 days after New Year's, it's just all day long, as if you live. And it's traumatizing for some people. And now, this
and
was
dogs.
Oh, yeah. Some guy, I was outside on the deck this morning, pitch black. All of a sudden I hear, hey, whoa, hello. And his dog had run out, jumped his car and crossed the green belt, and felt kind of bad for him. It was only 8-month-old German Shepherd, so it's like, don't know if that one's going to be okay. But otherwise, completely uneventful here in Austin. If anything, a bit just demure and sad.
Why?
No, it wasn't a real...
Was it any more sad than normal?
Yeah, well, it wasn't a great 4th of July, it wasn't a lot of fun. I mean, certainly not compared to the evening before when we went to our cocktail party here in Austin, Texas.
Yes, there was a photo. I put your photo in the newsletter, yes, and there you were.
Did you not like my photo?
Well, I liked it. It looked like kind of if there was any such thing as a full-body mug shot, that's kind of what it looked like.
Oh, okay. You wanted an action...
All that was missing was like the scale behind you, how tall you were.
You didn't want an action... You wanted an action shot or something? I wasn't going to...
Yeah, I wanted an action shot.
No, I wasn't going to put my... I'm not going to... Okay, let me tell you what's going on, because this was quite an interesting experience. So to review, we had received an invitation... very nice couple. We're good friends with them. Now, they happen to live in Tarrytown here in Austin. They have about 100 employees. They've got, I think, 6 different locations for their business throughout Austin and I believe maybe Houston. So it's always interesting to find out how they've been doing, especially with a lot of employees and limitations, etc. So we're looking forward to seeing them. But we were told, hey, if you come on Friday, then please, when you pull up to the house, park down by the garage and then walk on the path. They're kind of built on a hill. It's a multi-million-dollar home built on a bit of a hill, so you're kind of down below. And please walk on the path to the left all the way around to the backyard. And as I think I'd reported previously, the male of the two and I had conversed privately, and he said, man, we're full on hazmat suit here. So we were ready. We had our masks on. I had my World's Best Dad cup on a string around my neck, as promised. And so we walk up, and they're out there in the back, and it's just the four of us. And they have one side of a picnic table, and there's plastic glasses. And we're on the other side, and we didn't, hug or shake hands or anything. But they said, oh, you don't need the mask. You can take the mask off now. And they weren't wearing masks. Now, July 3rd in Austin, Texas, at 8 p.m., it's about 93 degrees. And as the sun starts to go down, the mosquitoes come out, who love the keeper. She is so sweet. So I have my No Agenda neck gaiter. I have that around my neck still, and so there's just sweat dripping down my face. I look at him, and his sweat's dripping down, and finally, and Tina's getting bitten by mosquitoes. It's like it's not a great vibe, and then she's complaining like, oh shit, what this is so good, and he says, I vote we go inside. I'm like, oh, okay. Can I vote too? I didn't quite understand what was happening. Long story short, this whole charade was because of the neighborhood. The neighborhood, which it's called Terrytown, I affectionately call it Karentown. The neighbors are consistently monitoring everybody to make sure that you don't have people in your house, to make sure that everyone who arrives at your house is socially distanced, that they have this was because of the neighborhood, not them, the neighborhood. We went indoors, like it was nice and cool. We drank out of real glasses. We were chatting. We had a great evening until we had to leave. And then I've been there many times. I've always come and gone through the front door. But no, we were taken downstairs through the basement area, the mudroom, to leave via the garage so no one would see us walking out of the front of the house. That's what this was all about.
That's pathetic.
Oh, but that neighborhood, man, there's stuff going on there. Apparently, there were a couple of 14-year-old girls or something. They'd done some video, and they were singing rap songs. And 14-year-old white girls, they know all the lyrics, and they know exactly what they're doing. They can mimic it. And this is what TikTok is all about. But of course, every other 5 songs in hip hop has the N-word in there, and so kids are now supposed to sing along. When the N-word comes, then they stop. They just don't say anything. Then they continue with the lyrics right after that. Except one of them did the full N-word in the background. And this went viral. And one of these girls' dad is a neurosurgeon at UT. Fired. The girl who said that, boarding school. This is crazy. It's absolutely insane. Boarding school. What did you say? Boarding school for you. Now, obviously, she made a mistake, but you understand kind of how these things happen. And I'm not trying to make it right, but he was a neurosurgeon at UT, fired. So, holy crap. Yeah,
it sounds like wrongful termination, if you ask me.
Well, I'm not. I don't know the explicit details. What they did say to me, our friends, is that they had gotten a lot of pressure from their employees to say something, to post something. Black Lives Matter, and they didn't do it. They stood up to the employees, said no. Here's all the things we do, because it's a very social-oriented company in general. But said, no, we're just not going to participate in that. We're trying to keep our heads above water here. They've been on a lockdown for 3 months. And so I thought that was pretty brave. And they weathered through the storm. They did not have anyone quit in a huff or anything. Somehow they managed to communicate what they were and weren't going to do. So, and you need more of that. But holy crap, in your own home, that you have to be afraid of what you're doing because the neighbors will think on you. Man, that's tough.
Wow.
So the visit did not disappoint, in my opinion. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was worthwhile.
What a creepy area.
Yeah, but this may be the same in many areas, John. I mean, you and
I'm
I,
sure it is.
we don't get out. Yeah, we don't get out, So what do we know? We don't know what's really going on in the real world except the supermarket.
Well, it's not going on in my neighborhood, I can assure you.
Yeah, well, hopefully not here either, as far as I can tell. But it was a surprising moment. I thought they were the ones that were freaked out. But that wasn't it at all. So bizarre.
I vote we go inside. Mosquitoes everywhere.
It was a great.
Yeah,
once we were inside, it was a great evening. We had a really good time. It was fantastic. And of course, when we got home, then spent a little bit watching the president's performance at Mount Rushmore, which thought was quite interesting. In fact, I have a jingle.
It's the most wonderful speech of the years.
It's nothing like Christmas in July, everybody. The most wonderful speech of the year. Completely divisive and putting people on notice. But I don't know if you saw it, but before everything started, there was a flyby video of Air Force One. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see the thing at all.
Oh, so I was watching the PBS live stream on YouTube. No one was really carrying anything, but the streaming and the event started quite early. And they had it had to have been prepackaged, but it was Air Force One doing a flyover Mount Rushmore. But John, this was a 5-minute Top Gun danger zone type video. I mean, the 15-year-old boy in me went, holy crap. Air Force One looms up out of the distance. It does like a bank, and then Thunderstruck AC/DC starts playing, goes into Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle. I'm like, yeah, America, fuck yeah, baby. And I just couldn't help myself. That was for every boy in the world. It's like, and hopefully some girls. It's like, that was just a badass display of
I'll have to go see if I can
American
find it.
huge penis.
They did not have it. The networks refused to play any of it. Would have been a good show for anyone, considering what else their offerings were, which was nil. I mean, the only thing I think it ever got played by one of the networks was John Legend, on the 4th.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But I just really loved it. And simultaneously, I understood how many people outside of the United States and certainly inside the United States would look at that and would choke on their own vomit, which is the part that saddened me immediately after realizing that this bravado is what some people have been trained to hate. And
the training to hate is out of control. That's the thing. I have clips about it today.
Oh, good. I do have what I thought was the most important thing the president said from that speech, if you're interested.
Sure.
Well, wait, first of all, I have some... let's play Trump. Yes, here we go. I think this is what hit home. I think this is what his base liked. And the speech was totally based. And I think it put some people on notice. It was the only thing I thought that really was the nugget of what he was saying, besides all the patriotic stuff.
Schools, our newsrooms, even our corporate boardrooms, there is a new far-left fascism that demands absolute allegiance. If you do not speak its language, perform its rituals, recite its mantras, and follow its commandments, then you will be censored, banished, blacklisted, persecuted, and punished. It's not going to happen to us.
That's not to the base at all.
Make no mistake, this left-wing cultural revolution is designed to overthrow the American Revolution. In so doing, they would destroy the very civilization that rescued billions from poverty, disease, violence, and hunger, and that lifted humanity to new heights of achievement, discovery, and progress. To make this possible, they are determined to tear down every statue, symbol, and memory of our national heritage.
Now, it's too bad. I've listened to this several times. Maybe the troll room can decipher it. I have no idea what the person yells, but the president really liked it.
Symbol and memory of our national heritage.
Oh, not on my watch. Okay. Thank you, trolls.
That's very true, actually.
The only ad lib I could catch.
That is why I am deploying federal law enforcement to protect our monuments, arrest the rioters, and prosecute offenders to the fullest extent of the law.
Of the law. Okay. So I thought that was pretty clear what he was saying there.
Well, if you looked at Google News, read all the news.
Oh, let me guess.
Presidents. It just was all negative.
Well,
everything was about that speech was negative.
I had a thought about this. I read the New York Times and I read the AP, and both of them. It was a lot of words, and words like fiery, rally, base. The base part, absolutely. Fiery? No. A rally? No. In fact, I think there was a ban on MAGA hats and MAGA gear. I didn't see any of it. It's my thinking, and we've discussed this before, I'm sure, that at the Times and AP, it's a 4th of July weekend. They write up the template, or they just take one off the shelf, which includes all that shit. Yeah, no one wants to work. And then you have an intern who plugs in. Almost no one had masks. That kind of stuff. So it was all pre-programmed. There was no reporting of what he said, as far as I know. What did I get here? I
probably didn't watch.
What is this?
Donald Trump likes a big crowd. It's going to be, I think, a more divisive speech than that, where he's going to attack the left-wing mobs trying to divide the country. Donald Trump clearly thinks this will work to his advantage. There are many who would beg to differ.
I think it does work to his advantage.
Let me read from Google News the rundown.
Yeah, please.
Headlines. We've got to do something. Republican rebels come together to take on Trump. That's the top listing. Boom, right at the top. And where is it from? It's from The Guardian.
Of course. Oh, geez.
In the 4th of July remarks, Trump goes after radical left and media, Washington Post. How Trump, not Biden, has helped. Oh, this is the New York Post. They got a good headline here. Let's see. Richard Manning, former G.W. Bush appointee supporting Biden, have embraced socialist policies. Why? The Observer view on Joe Biden's lackluster presidential campaign. Oh, no, this is different. Okay, well, Biden vows to uproot systemic racism in the July 4th remarks. And by the way, his remarks, I do want to play this clip out of order then.
All right.
This is from the PBS NewsHour, and they're kind of, let me see if I can find it. They're kind of...
Biden 4th of July message?
Yeah.
Okay, let's play it.
Presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden tweeted his 4th of July message today. Using images from recent and historic protests, the former vice president said the country has not yet lived up to its founding ideal.
American history is no fairy tale. It's been a constant push and pull between the two parts of our character. The idea that all men and women, all people are created equal, and the racism that has torn us apart.
Wait a minute. The PBS just presented that as something Joe Biden said, and then they play a part of an ad? Am I missing something?
Too bad you can't be watching this. For one thing, and this is the truth, I had to boost this little segment 5 dB.
5?
5.
That's a lot of dog biscuits, man.
It's a lot of dog biscuits. And so I boosted it 5 dB, and it still sounds like crap. And if you play it, and they played this, like I guess somebody put this package together for him. He just played this thing.
This is unacceptable. This is horrible.
You think? And so they got music, and the first thing Biden says in that clip, if you can back to the point where he says it, tell me what it is. You tell me what it is. I have no idea what he's saying. He mumbles something. I have no idea. I don't think the chat room can get this one.
Well, only the trolls could. Let's play a little bit of the outro into Biden.
Former vice president said the country has not yet lived up to its founding ideal.
American history is no fairy tale.
American history is not fact? Let me see.
American history is no fairy tale.
Not fact? Fair?
American history is no fairy tale. It's been a constant push and pull between the two parts of our character.
I think he's saying not fair.
American history is no fairy tale. It's been a constant.
But his I think his dentures wobbled after he said fair, and it sounds like fair. Here, try again.
American history is no fairy tale. It's been a constant push and pull between
fairy tale. How about that? Could be fairy tale, John. That's the latest from the troll room.
American history is no fairy tale.
Yeah, listen.
No.
Listen.
American history is no fairy tale.
America's history is not a fairy tale. Yeah, could be. Anyway, it's horrible. It's not good for Joe Biden. It looks really bad for PBS, announcing like he made some great statement, and then you roll out an ad because the guy clearly is not capable of making any great statement.
Help me.
I don't know if these are good or not. I kind of like them, though. Could you understand that jingle?
Not really.
It was Joe.
I'll get it. It seems.
It was Joe Biden's health.
But play it again.
Oh, sorry. I'd already taken it away as a fail. I'm sorry. Here, let's try it one more time. Or you could
like Joe Biden's hell.
Or you could choose this one.
Like Joe Biden, corrupt for all my life.
I don't know. It's. I think it's hard if you don't know exactly what they're singing. I don't think it picks up real quick. That may just be me.
No,
it's not just me.
Anyway, so they play this stupid thing, and it's like it just was a head shaker.
Yeah, no kidding.
They've lost it. They've lost the plot.
I was reading Matt Taibbi, and he had a fantastic quote. He has this. He has a whole, really a good article, just condemning everybody and anything, kind of like his 4th of July happy message to the world. And he said, "We are witnessing an obscene malfunction of the elite messaging system." And I think that's really spot on, because we're always talking about how certainly the older politicians, they're used to doing an interview with the Times. Everyone's all buddy, do a post, do something for CBS, maybe do 60 Minutes, okay, we'll meet the press if we have to. And then we're done. Then the slaves understand and the message has been conveyed. But that is broke. This is a good example, I think. This was Nancy Pelosi, and it's completely unrelated to the 4th of July, of course. It's about the Taliban being paid by Russia to kill American soldiers, and that was.
They're trying to ride this dog as far as they can.
It's so lame what they're trying to do here. Intelligence has come out and said, no, it's unverified. That doesn't go up to the level of president. So the mainstream media and his political opponents are making it look like he doesn't care, doesn't read his presidential daily briefings, is uninterested. People don't even come to him anymore with important information because he wouldn't care. I mean, it just went on. And Pelosi really took the cake with this one.
What are you expecting in your meeting later this morning?
Well, hopefully we will get the truth. The fact is that force protecting our troops is the first responsibility of intelligence. And that there would be this idea that there would be a bounty on our troops paid by the Russians to the Taliban is something that was so necessary to be pursued. Why would they have not told the president? Because he doesn't like to get bad news on Russia.
See?
And again,
yeah, that's exactly why, Miss Pelosi. That's he doesn't like bad news, so people don't give him the bad news on Russia. That's how it works.
Why would they have not told the president? Because he doesn't like to get bad news on Russia. And again, why haven't they taken action these months later? So when we hear from them today, hopefully there'll be a level of participation that knows the facts, and that we will have a Gang of Eight that is open to the truth.
The president himself keeps calling all of this a hoax and has said nothing about Vladimir Putin or Russia or possible sanctions if the president even learns more about it. It's just hoax town.
Well, his hoax, he uses a hoax because he'll say this is a hoax, and it's a hoax that they are 24/7 trying to disrupt our election as they did in 2016. He says that coronavirus is a hoax. The fact is the president himself is a hoax.
Well, here, play this clip. This is the clip. Afghanistan makes sense. Report PBS.
Washington's envoy to Afghanistan continues to push for the U.S. Taliban peace deal, despite recent reports that Russia may have paid bounties to Afghan militants for killing American and NATO soldiers. U.S. Special Representative Zalmay Khalilzad focused on the economic benefits of the deal today. He was wrapping up a week-long trip that included a stop in Qatar, where Taliban representatives are based. In late February, the U.S. signed a peace deal with the Taliban that ended nearly 20 years of war in Afghanistan. The deal has encountered new political opposition and doubts about whether the Taliban can be trusted since news of the intelligence about the Russian bounties became public.
Oh, well, that completely confirms what we were talking about.
This whole thing is just to queer the deal.
Yeah, to ruin the deal and have more war. That's why Bill Kristol's involved with the Lincoln Project. Those are warmongers. And they launched it at the same time as their ad and everyone. I mean, this is coordinated. It's so obvious, I think.
And it shows up in this PBS report when PBS is all in because they and the way he says it is matter of fact. He says at the very end,
I know.
He says intelligence reports. What intelligence reports? This is a rumor that was printed in the New York Times. It has nothing to do with anything. No. It's all to queer the deal because this Taliban thing was going to end. We're going to get out of Afghanistan. There goes the poppy money. All these other things happen. It's just like this is such an obvious scam that it's ridiculous. And you're right about this idiotic Lincoln Project.
Yeah. Yes.
In fact, I was just looking at a thing called Republican Voters Against Trump. It's a feed. You can see it on Twitter.
Right.
And there's a bunch of these hacks on there. I'm Joe Schmo, and I hate Donald Trump. I used to be a Republican, but I don't like him anymore, and especially what he did to John McCain. And they're all a bunch of guys wearing a McCain shirt, which McCain's been dead. I mean, this seems to be this old wing of the Republican Party. There was the John McCain wing, which was the warmonger part of the party.
Yes, he's a total warmonger. And the ones.
So if you want more war, vote out Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what we thought it was. And now they're just confirming it. That's even better. It's so insane, these people. I really want to hear you. You had said you had some clips about schooling and all that, but maybe we just touch on Ghislaine Maxwell for a moment.
Yeah, I didn't get any clips about this, but I figure you might.
Yeah, I have. Well, of course, I have a couple things that are relevant, but just some thoughts in general. There's a lot of things going on. And, this is like Q level stuff, of course. It's so easy to see all these dots that you can pull together. I'll just give you a couple of headlines that I've seen today. So on the day that they, quote unquote, arrest Ghislaine Maxwell.
Who was casually sitting in a place up in Vermont or New Hampshire or someplace in the woods.
Thank you. When you are on
casually there, she's at home.
No, when you are on a 150-acre property with a beautiful home, you are not hiding out. It's called a safe house. That's obvious to me. That's a safe house. Why else would she be there? And she bought it through some anonymous foundation or something. So we don't even know if it's really hers. Safe house. I'm just going to call it a safe house. Now, do I know?
I like that. I'm in.
I mean, it's not like they didn't know where she was. Give me a break. And then she's in New Hampshire. Like that was her brilliant plan to hide out is New Hampshire. No. So that happens. On the same day she's arrested, one of the judges orders one of Epstein's accusers through the lawyer to destroy all files they have because they were acquired improperly. So now there's judges' orders to destroy, I don't know if it's evidence, but files. It's just irritating things. Then we get all these little like nudges in the media. And I'm just looking at purely from a very conspiratorial viewpoint. Germany is investigating now suddenly 30,000 potential suspects in this huge pedophile probe, as they put it. I think that's a very funny headline, Deutsche Welle, by the way. 30,000 people, not just in Germany. Then you have...
Oh, brother.
Well, then you have... This just came out in the British papers. Pictures of Ghislaine Maxwell with Kevin Spacey sitting on the royal thrones, and that is a huge. That's like taking a dump on the president's desk in the Oval Office. You do not sit as a commoner. You do not. It's certainly not a Yankee. You don't sit on the throne of the British royal. So that comes out now all of a sudden.
But wasn't that really just a movie set?
I don't know. That isn't that. I didn't read that. Was this been debunked as a movie set?
That's what I assumed, because I saw Kevin Spacey pictures before, and there's a number of movie sets that have the royal throne.
Well, I'm glad that you are defending Kevin Spacey. Now someone needs to.
Well, I am in this case.
I'm very happy.
Indictments.
Yeah, thousands of sealed indictments are coming. And Dershowitz, Alan Dershowitz, he pops out of nowhere with this article to defend Ghislaine Maxwell, saying that, and of course, he's a constitutional lawyer. We respect him. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Although, Dershowitz, that's not exactly how it works. I should have had this one ready before. We know exactly that, as John Brennan says, the former chief of the CIA.
People are innocent until, alleged to be involved in some type of criminal activity.
Yeah, so I don't know, Dersh, you may be... So he's out there defending himself, really, because of this Jennifer Giuffre. And he has, I think, solid documentation that shows that what she claimed is impossible because he was not... He was in a different part of the world on that day, which doesn't mean she didn't maybe have her timeline wrong. But I don't know. It's irksome to hear Dershowitz talking. No one asked him for his opinion. Why is he inserting himself in this? And he was on the BBC. And here is the first of these two clips. And you can kind of hear. I don't think I've heard Dershowitz sound like this, with just a little bit of, just a tinge of, I think, fear, And he pronounces, you have Lord the Rothschild. His wife is Evelyn the Rothschild, right?
No,
that's his name, Lord Evelyn the Rothschild.
Oh, okay.
Right. Listen to how he pronounces it.
I was introduced to her by the Lord Evelyn and the Lady Rothschild.
Evelyn? Am I missing something?
Evelyn, the Lady Rothschild?
Is it Lord? I think it's Lord Evelyn and the Lady Rothschild. The guy's first name is Evelyn, but he says Evelyn. I don't know if that's his real name or if just that's just how they call him behind the dark curtain. I don't know.
I was introduced to her by the Lord Evelyn and the Lady Rothschild. I met her several times, not dozens, several times in the presence of very prominent people, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, Nobel Prize winning scientists, the presidents of major universities. I
like how this somehow means that these are all good people.
Marvin Minsky, you mentioned him.
I mean, somehow he says, well, clearly we had all these fabulous people here. That it couldn't be wrong. We have the Rothschilds. We have Nobel laureates. We have the Clintons. How could there be anything suspicious happening here?
I met her several times, not dozens, several times in the presence of very prominent people, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, Nobel Prize winning scientists, the presidents of major universities. I never, ever saw her engaging in any kind of inappropriate behavior. My wife and I met her. My daughter met her. We never saw any inappropriate behavior. In fact, I went and volunteered to the U.S. Attorney's Office. I went in on my own and to the DA's office more than a couple of years ago and said, I want to tell you everything I know about everybody involved in this. And I did, and I will continue to do so, but I saw nothing inappropriate on her behalf at all.
Sounds just like a regular old party with a bunch of elites. And
no big deal.
Nothing at all. Now, this is where I thought it was interesting is he is very quick to offer his opinion, his legal opinion, which I feel is still by me, is respected by me as just as a constitutional colleague. But why does he have to go and, really say that she's safe?
This may be the beginning. This may be one indictment. It may be followed by subsequent indictments because this indictment ends in 1997. And I think the government will have some problems with statute of limitations and also with the plea bargain that gives her immunity. If they accuse her of any actions that took place after the plea bargain, that would give them a strong case. So I suspect that we will be hearing from some of these witnesses who lack credibility and who have long histories of lying.
They're lying. Don't interrupt me. They're lying. No credibility. I feel really bad for him.
Wow.
Because, he look, I don't know if his thing works even anymore. But he probably saw something.
They used to say he's got a tit in the ringer.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Tit in the ringer. If there ever was a good analogy for it, that this is it. My goodness. I think I want to go through some of the stuff you were talking about. I have some alternative look at what's happening with coronavirus, but we'll do that in a little bit, I think. What I am seeing everywhere.
Well, let's get the coronavirus stuff out of the way because that's really front and center.
Really? Because I got the idea that people are a little tired of hearing it front and center.
Okay, then we'll move it back.
Just a little bit.
We'll make it second row.
Yeah. I mean, I don't... Look, here's what I'll say about coronavirus before we get to the real segment. Even during the Blitz of World War II, when the Germans were bombing the Brits, bombing London, and they were for 3 weeks, only not 3 months, 3 weeks. They were in the subways, in the undergrounds, in the tunnels. And even though the bombing continued, they came out and went back to life. And that is what will happen with us too. People are not having it. Even California, John, from what I understand, people are just ignoring the rules now.
It's gotten to the point of scofflaw is king.
Yeah. Okay.
So we had the fireworks things. We talked about that, and they were all over the place. And it was just because the cities wouldn't do them when they had their opportunity.
Right.
No, we don't want to do that. Don't want people coming out. And now they're showing a whole specials in San Jose, especially where they're reopening these little restaurants, and they're ignoring everything. And the reporters go down there, and they got their cameras, and like the Karens of the reportage Karens.
Yes.
They go in there. Look, you guys aren't separating. Oh yes, and so the guy's scrambling around. Get back. They're trying to fix things while the reporters are filming, and then they apparently go back to partying.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly. Yes, exactly. They go back to partying. Okay, we'll go through some of the current thinking and stuff we should be looking at in a minute. But I'm interested. You said you had something about schools.
Well, I do. It's a little. I think it's a little tedious, but it does get to a point.
I don't mind tedious. It's a Sunday.
Okay. Well, this is going to be educational. This was Democracy Now! On Friday. I had a special 4th of July show, and it consisted of first it started off with a speech from 1852 done a copy of it. They just did a Frederick Douglass speech from 1852 about how rotten this country is.
Oh, this was a 4th of July celebration, Democracy Now! Style.
Yes.
We hate America. Happy 4th, everybody. Yes. Okay. Got it.
So they start with that, and then they go to a long, like it was long, interview with Angela Davis.
That's the right one to have.
Yeah, so they bring her on to tell us how miserable this country is. So I picked up, unfortunately, I got 5 clips, and a couple of them are short, but the last couple of them are longish, but very well worth it. And then I have...
See, now you understand why I wanted to move my Corona clips later, because I have 5 clips, one of the longish. I just wanted to have you go through that pain first. I'm ready for it. It's good. I'm excited.
Well, here we go
it.
with the pain. Let's start with the introduction and the discussion with Angela Davis 1.
Okie dokie.
Defund the police becomes a rallying cry of the movement. Well, for more on this historic moment, we turn to the legendary activist and scholar Angela Davis, professor emerita at the University of California, Santa Cruz. For half a century, Angela Davis has been one of the most influential activists and intellectuals in the United States and an icon of the Black liberation movement. I interviewed her in early June and asked her if she thought this moment is truly a turning point.
This is an extraordinary moment. I've never experienced anything like the conditions we are currently experiencing. The conjuncture created by the COVID-19 pandemic and the recognition of the systemic racism that has been rendered visible under these conditions because of the disproportionate deaths in Black and Latinx communities.
Wow, she goes. Just a point of observation. She pulls in the Latinx communities.
Oh, yeah, they're trying to incorporate
but that's not really accepted with the ADOS group. It's like they're a little tired of that.
The ADOS group is not going to buy into any of this crap.
No shit. No kidding.
Angela Davis is a Marxist from the get-go. She was one of the members of the Black Panther Party in the early days, and she became a professor. And she's picked up over the years, because I heard her speak in the 70s. She's picked up a Maya Angelou type of slow talk with emphasis on the ending T's, and a little bit of also a little black preacher in there, but she's got this very haughty style of speaking now. And she's a professor, or was for years, at Santa Cruz, where she would basically blow out anti-American Marxist rhetoric to the students there, and it was allowed, and it was like, oh, this is great.
It was encouraged. It was encouraged.
It was encouraged, and the schools are just pathetic anti-American institutions at this point. They don't do anything positive. They don't say nothing positive about the country. It's all Howard Zinn type of stuff. Oh yeah, we're terrible. And with a lot of bull crap thrown in, it's just lies. But let's go to her second clip.
Long been a leader of the critical resistance movement, the abolition movement. And I'm wondering if you can explain the demand as you see it, what you feel needs to be done around defunding the police, and then around prison abolition.
Well, the call to defund the police is, I think, an abolitionist demand, but it reflects only one aspect of the process represented by the demand. Defunding the police is not simply about withdrawing funding for law enforcement and doing nothing else. And it appears as if this is the rather superficial understanding that has caused Biden to move in the direction he's moving in. It's about shifting public funds to new services and new institutions, mental health counselors who can respond to people who are in crisis without arms. It's about shifting funding to education, to housing, to recreation. All of these things help to create security and safety.
Wait a minute. Did she say arms, as in weapons?
Yeah.
Can respond to people who are in crisis without arms.
She didn't say arms. She said arms.
Arms. That's kind of interesting, seeing as that she, through the Black Panthers, was directly responsible for the Mulford Act, which banned guns in California, which Ronald Reagan signed. That's kind of interesting that she's now calling for guns, which I'm not against, of course.
No. You misunderstood her.
Arms.
She says she wants these service without arms.
But she was her whole history was supposed to be for arming poor people, black people, and now she's against it.
Yeah,
she's a traitor to her own thing.
Her own thoughts.
Her own thing. And her own arms. Huh.
Arms.
I think that's ARM hyphen ZA, I think is arms. Yeah.
So let's go. Now, the third clip is actually Angela Davis, feminist. And this one I thought was the most fascinating of the clips, except for the last one, which is the best. But this is another. This is, by the way, and people want to do some research on this, you look up Revolutionary Abolitionist Movement.
Yeah,
RAM.
That's the ones. That's the one.
And you try to find out what these guys are about. They're a bunch of, they've taken Marxist ideology. And by the way, Marxist ideology goes back to the 1860s. That's how old this stuff is. This is old and failed ideas, but we're going to go back to them anyway. But,
this is not your daddy's boomer socialism. You got it all wrong. It's a different kind. It's just like gay means something different now.
Well, here's a little interesting little twist she wants to put on things.
And I would argue that abolition is a feminist strategy.
Wow. She's even doing feminists. This is a very interesting accent. This is like
it's out of control.
It's really a speaking disorder. Feminist.
And I would argue that abolition is a feminist strategy. And one sees in these abolitionist demands that are emerging the pivotal influence of feminist theories and practices. I want us to see feminism not only as addressing issues of gender, but rather as a methodological approach of understanding the intersectionality of struggles and issues. Abolition feminism counters carceral feminism, which has unfortunately assumed that issues such as violence against women can be effectively addressed by using police force, by using imprisonment as a solution. And of course, we know that Joseph Biden in 1994.
Wow, this is also. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I find this is not tedious. This is great. You've got to say Joseph Biden. This is a trend. Things are happening, unfolding before our very eyes.
Using police force by using imprisonment as a solution. And of course, we know that Joseph Biden in 1994, who claims that the Violence Against Women Act was such an important moment in his career. The Violence Against Women Act was couched within the 1994 Crime Act, the Clinton Crime Act. And what we're calling for is a process of decriminalization, not recognizing that that threats to safety, threats to security come not primarily from what is defined as crime, but rather from the failure of institutions in our country to address issues of health, issues of violence, education, etc. So abolition is really about rethinking the kind of future we want, the social future, the economic future, the political future. It's about revolution, I would argue.
Oh, okay. And the revolution is brought to you by Nike. And a couple others. I do like what she said, because if I understand her properly, she's kind of steering it away from a color issue to an economic issue, which is what the problem is. Because she's not wrong there,
No,
but then
she's steering it away from. Well, the economic issue, and the economic issue, as you will hear in the last clip,
is
is
the rich people got
to.
Yeah, of course.
It's got to go.
I understand her conclusion.
Redistribution of wealth. That's the way to do it. We
Yes.
should do what we should be like Venezuela. We should be like all the other pure socialist societies that have all failed. But they have failed because there's something wrong. They haven't failed for any reason.
I'll tell you why.
It doesn't mean anything that they failed. We can do it.
I lived in socialist countries, socialist systems, and the problem is, the idea is, everyone shares, we get along, and we understand that there's some shared burden and shared upside. The problem is, human are dicks. They're bags of dicks, and they don't play along by the rules. So you have to have a different system that lets people who play along win, and people who don't crush. How's that for an explanation of capitalism versus socialism?
Well, it's cruel. It's cruel. You're a cruel man.
It sucks. People are horrible. They don't play along. They scam everything. And so it never works.
Well, that's because of the education system, Adam. If they were better educated and better trained, and they didn't have this constant need to go out and do such things. Well, that's
true. Yes.
And if they were counseled, if there were counselors to help those that you're complaining about and get them on the right track and re-educate them, as it were, in re-education camps, we wouldn't have these issues. These things would be fine. They'd be done. It'd be good.
Little Johnny, your Mandarin teacher is here.
So let's go to clip 4.
Okay, this is Dean. Does it need a setup or straight into it?
I don't remember the setup.
We have to recognize the devastatingly negative role that history has played in charting the trajectory of the United States of America, and so I think that these assaults on statues represent an attempt to begin to think through what we have to do to bring down institutions and re-envision them, reorganize them, create new institutions that can attend to the needs of all people.
And what do you think should be done with statues, for example, to, slaveholding founding fathers like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson?
Museums can play an important educational role. And I don't think we should get rid of all of the vestiges of the past, but we need to figure out context within which people can understand the nature of U.S. history and the role that racism and capitalism and heteropatriarchy have played in forging that history.
Can you talk about racism and capitalism? You often write and speak about how they are intimately connected and talk about a world that you envision.
Heteropatriarchy? What do you think that is about?
White, heterosexual, cis males.
Let me just see. Well, here we go. Heteropatriarchy. It has a wiki page. In feminist theory, heteropatriarchy is a socio-political system where primarily cisgendered males and heterosexuals have authority over cisgendered female. Please. If I have it, I give it back immediately. I have no desire to have this burden, this authority. Okay, all right, I got you. All right, I have lots to say. What's our final?
So I'm waiting. I'm listening. By the way, this is a long thing. I'm taking chunks here and there that are, I think, relevant.
I like it.
And so I'm waiting and I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, which is what I'm looking for. Then I'm waiting for Amy to push back a little bit, and I have that. So I do have a clip. I think it's on there called Response or something like that. You see that on there?
Response. Yes, I do.
Yeah. No. Okay. Well, that'll be at the very end.
Okay.
Now, on the next, she asked her a question, and that's where I cut it because now she's finally gonna. She's got her oats. She's feeling her oats, and she's going to tell what we need to do to fix the world.
Well, I've been waiting for it. In 2 minutes and 15 seconds, I'm very excited.
In 2 minutes and 15 seconds, you're going to get it. And and to me, this is the entire situation that we're dealing with. Thank you, colleges and universities, for making this possible. And let's hear her.
About a world that you envision.
Yeah, racism is integrally linked to capitalism, and I think it's a mistake to assume that we can combat racism by leaving capitalism in place. As Cedric Robinson pointed out in his book Black Marxism, capitalism is racial capitalism. And, of course, to just say for a moment that Marx pointed out that what he called primitive accumulation, capital doesn't just appear from nowhere. The original capital was provided by the labor of slaves. The Industrial Revolution, which pivoted around the production of capital, was enabled by slave labor in the U.S. So I'm convinced that the ultimate eradication of racism.
Say again. What were you protesting?
First of all, she's got this thing about, she's trying to make a point that's not makeable. Because if you look at the history of slavery, which goes back in Western societies to the 1400s, it is actually probably before that in other, like the Romans had slaves. But the point is that slavery was in full force until the Industrial Revolution. Once the Industrial Revolution,
that's exactly when it stopped.
They didn't need slaves anymore. Except in the United States, in the South, they need them because they had to pick cotton because there was a confluence of a couple of coincidences. One was the cotton gin, which allowed us to produce a lot more cotton, and so you needed more people picking the cotton.
Yeah. The cotton is hard to pick.
So, and the British had a textile revolution, thanks to the Industrial Revolution, where they were making textiles by the tons. They needed as much cotton as they could get. So we were kind of, forced to kind of up the slave ante. So the input of slaves went up until the Civil War.
How did the Brits get away with? I mean, the slave trade at the height of the British Empire, it was a commodity. You could buy stocks.
Yes,
in slaves.
Once the Industrial Revolution took hold in Britain in the 1820s, or even before, somewhat, but when it really took hold, that's when they decided the slave thing's got to go. And so they had the Slave Abolition Act of 1833. There was slavery was abolished in England, and they kind of washed their hands of the whole thing. Meanwhile, demanding cotton from us. It was a disaster for us insofar as having to maintain the slaveholders down in the South. But for her to say that the Industrial Revolution was built on the backs of slaves is nuts. She's full of shit, this woman, and she's giving a course on whatever her courses are at Santa Cruz, or were. She's now retired. And she's going on with this nonsense. And let's get to the point by finishing this clip and see what she's really after.
Around the production of capital was enabled by slave labor in the U.S. So I'm convinced that the ultimate eradication of racism is going to require us to move toward a more socialist organization of our economies, of our other institutions. I think we have a long way to go before we can begin to talk about an economic system that is not based on exploitation and on the super exploitation of Black people, Latinx people, and other racialized populations. But I do think that we now have the conceptual means to engage in discussions, popular discussions about capitalism. Occupy gave us new language. The notion of the prison industrial complex requires us to understand the globalization of capitalism. Anti-capitalist consciousness helps us to understand the predicament of immigrants who are barred from the U.S. by the wall that has been created by the current occupant. These conditions have been created by global capitalism. And I think this is a period during which we need to begin that process of popular education, which will allow people to understand the interconnections of racism, heteropatriarchy, capitalism.
This is the New York Times 1619 project. This is what this is all about. Yeah. Rewriting history. Literally rewriting history.
Do you think Amy pushed back? Let's listen to her response.
God, John, you just made this show not safe for work. I don't even know what that sound is.
That's my dog drinking water.
Oh. So I guess Amy was lapping it up?
You got it. You also stole my mic check joke.
I'm sorry. We have the same sharp comedic stylings. What can I say? You know. There's something about you editing clips for the funny that is just so endearing. I really, really love it. Yeah, this is very very interesting. She should probably crack open YouTube once in a while and see what other Black Americans are saying, and what they're feeling about the defund movement. And you pretty much can't get. I mean, of course, we have M5M clips today, but if you really want some information, you got to go to podcasts. You got to go to YouTube. Certainly in the 4th of July weekend, the media is not working at all. It's just running on autopilot. It's one big algo. And the algo, you start the algo and it basically goes,
orange!
And the algo just runs throughout the weekend. But if you look at what people, for instance, in New York City are saying about defund and what's happening, particularly New York City, where the crime investigation unit has been, was it dissolved or did they all walk off, or was it both? Do you remember?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
They won't. The media will not play these stories.
Exactly. So we don't even know really what's going on.
We don't even know what's going on with the New York police.
That's
the center of the media, New York, and we can't even find out anything.
Yeah. Well, you don't think there's any obfuscation going on, do you?
I think there is.
Yes. Here's a New York City YouTuber, and he is identifying some very big issues.
Yo, they get rid of anti-crime in New York City. Anti-crime was basically a plainclothes unit that went around and dealt with, felonies and robberies, whatever, shit like that. Heavy shit.
By the way, probably not safe for work to play out loud.
Dealing with the real fucked up people in society, Now they done got rid of that shit, you know what I mean? Now we're dealing with everything. You got a bunch of cops. They don't want to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nobody don't want to do nothing naturally, because you know why? Nobody don't want to lose their job. They got families to support. Then you got the community like, fuck that, this or that. So it's like a whole back and forth battle. But at the end of the day, you know what? You lose. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got a bunch of fucking people that think they cowboys running around carrying fucking guns all over the city, and ain't nobody to check them. You know what I mean? You got fucking criminals running around. Now your whole shit is like fucked up. So now you looking for Batman, the Avengers to come. But guess what?
That's exactly what they're promising. Batman and the Avengers, aren't they?
Took a lifetime vacation. You don't even realize that. Within New York City in the past couple of weeks, so many people have been murdered and killed violently. But you know what? This is just the tip of the iceberg. You ain't seen nothing yet. Now, as the time goes on, it's going to get worse. Right now they complaining over the fireworks, and the fireworks sound like gunshots. So now you mixing all that in, Now you got blocks full of fucking people partying at nighttime. These are people that don't go to work, don't do anything, don't give a fuck about the quality of life, don't give a fuck about themselves. So you know what, man? Now you're going to see. Now you're going to really, really see what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a pretty accurate report of what's really happening in some New York neighborhoods. And it
probably is.
It's crazy. Now, there's a real
De Blasio is oblivious to all this. Of course,
it's crazy. There's a huge contradiction,
and before you go on, De Blasio would buy into the Angela Davis ideas. Let's just re-educate and put the popular education.
He's drinking tea and smoking hash with her right now. What are you talking about? Would buy into it? He was probably directing the shoot. here's the conundrum.
Sorry.
Here's the conundrum. And we saw this happen with Chop Chaz. What was the one thing that no Democrat could ever endorse, ever, anywhere, for any reason whatsoever on American streets? Guns.
Trump. Guns.
Yes,
Sorry.
Guns. So what did we see? We saw lots of AR-15s. I mean, if you go through the show notes, you just want to hear a couple of different clips from the past about how this is the most horrible weapon in the world, has no business being on American streets. It's unthinkable. But it's okay. It's Chaz, and they can they'll go ahead. So there's very confusing messages that are being sent, and I'm not quite sure what the leadership is thinking, but I do know what Black America is thinking because they're saying it out loud. And this was in the New York Times. I did not expect it. They had a huge article titled I'm a Black American. I need a gun to feel safe in this country. And I just took a little piece of video. Of course, they're producing some fun video to go along with their writing.
I grew up really anti-gun.
I grew up in a pretty liberal California family. I wasn't into firearms. I was kind of opposed to them.
My parents were never really into firearms.
I actually really don't like guns.
But I 100% for certain will be buying a gun, or 2 or 3.
Owning a firearm is important to me.
When you look outside, you can kind of see that there's a need for people protecting themselves, buying firearms, being conscious.
Black people, we live in a very violent country, and this country doesn't give us good options.
Parked my bike over here to take a break real quick. Got a white guy out here pointing the gun at 4 black men. Look at this. All we're doing is standing here.
This lady literally just pulled a gun because we out here and didn't have reservations.
Guns are dangerous. I never wanted one in my home. But a month ago, I bought a handgun and I learned how to shoot it. Right now, I need a gun to be safe in this country.
So while I understand and support everyone purchasing a gun, what the New York Times is doing here is a super asshole move, because they're taking the pain of the so-called white cops killing the black criminal, and they're now transferring it to your white fellow American who's just fucked up himself. So it's not the police. No, now it's the white people. The whole piece went from police to white people. And of course, we had the Ken and Karen in Louisiana, which, if I may say, I thought it was very funny that our heads were photoshopped on Ken and Karen. I feel I did get the raw end of the stick this time. I mean, the way she held the weapon is really wrong.
I know.
It made me look super bad.
Not that you were photoshopped onto a woman.
No, that's not the problem. No, I have no problem with that.
No, the problem was the way she holds the gun like she's...
Yeah, she got her finger...
You don't hold a gun like that.
She got her booger finger on the trigger, which is very... I mean, especially... I think it looked like a Walther PPK. I couldn't tell. That can go off. You got to be careful with your finger on the trigger, lady. Make sure you know what you're doing. And he also... Well, he was lefty, which is kind of weird to look at. Anyway, it's very interesting that this is happening in lieu of the Angela Davis clip that you played, because that was the Black Panthers came out specifically to protect their neighborhoods. And of course, the white response to it, in this case, not the Democrats, but the Republicans, Ronald Reagan, was to shut that shit down. And now it's being promoted. It's a very different tactic, and it's working because, and there's maybe a number of reasons why this is happening. I'll just say one. Is it possible that they want a repeat of the Black Panthers? So we have, more Mulford Acts for all 50 states to really get rid of guns? That's possible. I don't know. That's very, very sinister, but it could be happening. It may also be to capture some of the NRA money that is on the downside. NRA is definitely not loved by everybody in the United States. And now we have something new, a new entity, the NAAGA.
Redstone Firearms is registered with the NRA. The organization has a tight grip on the gun industry, offering benefits to business owners like Geneva. Yet Geneva turned to another gun club for a sense of belonging. Its name? The National African American Gun Association, or NAGA. Some call it the NRA for Black people.
2 to the body, 1 to the head.
The Solomons are NAGA state directors for...
Wow, that could be an end of show ISO. Did you hear that? 2 to the body, 1 to the head?
Play it again.
Okay, hold on. I think, here, check it out. Here we go.
2 to the body, 1 to the head.
Yeah.
Nah, okay.
California.
Got some musical bed or something.
Dr. Rashid Ivy is one of NAGA's newest members.
I love what NAGA's doing and loved how positive they were, how much they were really devoted to teaching people how to be positive gun owners and changing the stigma in our communities of gun ownership.
Are you also a member of the NRA?
No.
Why not?
The stigma associated with them is that they're it's a racist organization.
Mm-hmm. So we're shifting some. These are big moves that are coming. And, of course, what is a gun club really for? It's not just to help you learn how to shoot your gun.
NAGA is looking at possibly forming a pack. Why?
I think it is selfish, at a minimum, not to look at other avenues to help our people.
Are you going to be looking to endorse candidates or focus on issues?
We're going to focus on issues. Well, there's some African-American men, specifically in certain parts of the country, that have a very difficult time getting a gun license for whatever reason. They don't have any background issues.
Racist.
They have clean credit. They have a good job. But for some reason, they get declined. We would like to be an advocate for those type of individuals.
Are you concerned that if NAGA goes political, some white people are going to be afraid that it's the new Black Panther Party?
I don't care what they think. Me neither. Why have a National African American Gun Association? Why not just join the NRA? Well, this is America, right? We can create any organization that we want. And why shouldn't we create an organization that we're prideful of, an organization that is focused on our community, an organization that is focused on education? Why not? Right? So I really don't care what anyone thinks. It's not about them, it's about us. If we focus on them, that's what they want.
The way this is being played, I'm just putting out there what I'm hearing. Could I also be seeing here 2 gun clubs being created as rivals? It certainly is playing that way in the media. Will the NAAGA be the new Black Panthers? No, I don't think so. We already have the new Black Panthers. They're called NFCA. And they were out on Stone Mountain doing some drill practice. Fully decked out, full-on military grade type, at least looking gear. All AR-15s. The NFAC, which stands for Not Effing Around Coalition.
Threat, counter-threat. Because threats don't mean shit to us. Y'all been threatening us since Birmingham. I ain't seen shit. When it's July the 4th. And all you scary-ass Negroes that pass that shit around. Look at what the fuck you did. You made blacks come out. I don't see no white militia. So to the Boogie Boys, the 3%ers, and all the rest of you scared-ass rednecks, we here. Where the fuck you at? We in your house. Let's go. NFAC, motherfucker.
Whoa. Streets are lighting up, man. Streets are lighting up. There's all kinds of stuff happening. But I'm a little worried about what, in particular, the House of Representatives, the Democrats, and their cronies in many states. I'm just worried what they're thinking about doing. To me, it's like now you're really getting 2 different groups set up with guns on each side, but you're doing it under the guise of the cops were killing us, and now it's shifting. Yeah. But if you,
it's a bunch of guys with guns.
Well, there's also that. Here is, of course, now we can just go to some more normal sounding people. The Officer Tatum, who is a African-American police officer, and he's very tired of all of this crap. And this is very reminiscent of what my one black friend tells me as well.
I have had enough. I've had enough. I made a video earlier about my son getting a notification on his EA Sports Madden game talking about Black Lives Matter and oppression of black people, which is an opinion by some. It's not verifiable, unequivocal facts, but yet they push it on young people. And then one of my good friends, who happened to be white, and the funny thing is we have the same last name, we go on rides together, and he showed me on the app the Strava app that you just upload your rides to. Everybody have a good time. You like people's stuff. If you see their rides, they're impressive. Pro riders are on there. Everybody's having a good time. Why on God's green earth do they feel they need to give an advisory about how they've been a racist organization all this time? And that black people need to we special treatment, and you need to give us handouts, and worried about black athletes. Listen, man, as a black man in America, and I've been black for 33 years, I am sick of the pandering. I'm sick of the false equivalence. I'm sick of people painting the picture like I am less than in my own country. This country belongs to me just like anybody else. I have never experienced racism in America. I haven't. That doesn't mean that other people haven't. But I don't have to walk around with my head down, walking around acting like a victim when I haven't had nothing to do with that. And none of the people that I know are racist. I don't know a racist. I've never been around racists. Why do I have to be subject to an idea that people are forcing on me just because of the color of my skin? It makes no sense to me.
And that's a very common comment as well. It's insulting at this point. Stop it with your Venmo payments. People sending black people $5. Sorry for racism. I told Mo about that. You know what he said? He said, "What if you're going to give black people guns?" Is what he said. Just give them that. That's what we really need. He said, "Don't give me $5. That's insulting."
Well, if everyone was sending me $5, I'd be taking it. Now,
I have one more clip.
Okay, there was something that guy said. I've lost it already. Never mind. Go on.
That's okay. Well, I'm staying and he was talking about sports, about EA Sports, and also.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. What, did he say that somebody booted up Madden or something and there was a Black Lives Matter message?
Oh, yeah.
What is that all about?
Well, okay, check this out. Call of Duty has now removed the OK gesture, so you can't gesture OK to your teammates because racist. That gesture is just gone.
That gesture has never meant anything but OK.
But it's gone.
It more recently meant 3 points if you're an NBA player.
Right.
Exact same gesture.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Let me see. I had something else here. It was that. There was something else that had changed that was really odd. Well, we know about the Washington Redskins, of course.
No, we don't.
Oh, I mean, there's huge pressure for them to change their name again.
But this isn't new.
No, but it's not new. But
I know it's at a crescendo. They're going to have to change the name, and I've already got an insight what it's going to be. It's going to be changed to from the Washington Redskins to the Washington Rednecks.
I'm all in. Well, just as an entremont, here's a man on the street interview in D.C. about the term Redskin. And they interviewed 2 black Americans. And here's their response to the word Redskin.
Today on the streets of D.C.
I'm a Redskins fan.
Yeah.
For life.
Even with the name.
Even with the name.
It's offensive. It's a slur, a racial slur. I mean, that would be like having a team called the N-word.
Is that true? Is Redskin equivalent to the N-word?
More recently, I guess it is.
Yeah, I guess. And this to me was the clip of the week, just to see someone with some sense. It's Marcus Wiley. Of course, I was watching Fox Sports 1 as I do in my afternoons and evenings, catch up on what's going on with the non-game. Sports is very interesting now because there's none, so I can enjoy the talk. And and I'm very happy Marcus went.
I think they're of all the things people still do like to go out and party when they're given the opportunity. I'm getting sick of sports. It's just like, now I think about it, why do I care about these games? They're dumb.
And there he is. You've crossed the Rubicon. You are on the other side, my friend. Now you don't care about sports. Now you know.
But I cared about sports at one point. You never cared.
I care about football.
Football.
Exactly. So Marcus Wiley, of course, I do know him. He played with the Buffalo Bills. It's just a great guy. I have to talk it out of my ass. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But he decides, of course, to be political and talk about Black Lives Matter. And he did, and this would have been great if anyone did it, but the way he did it, he took the mission statement of Black Lives Matter Inc. So the people who are making tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars and really only putting 6 to 8% towards whatever the cause is. And it was very poignant what he said, and it comes right back down to the real issue, which is families without dads.
It's an interesting play right here. I don't know how many people really look into the mission statement of Black Lives Matter, but I did. And when you look into it, there's a couple things that jump out to me. And I'm a black man who's been black, and my life has mattered since 1974. And this organization was founded in 2013. I'm proud of you. But I've been fighting this fight for me and for others a lot longer. Two things. My family structure is so vital and important to me. Not only the one I grew up in, but the one I'm trying to create right now. Being a father and a husband, that's my mission in life right now. How do I reconcile that, what I just told you, with this mission statement that says, quote, we dismantle the patriarchal practice. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement. When I know statistics, when I know my reality, forget statistics. I knew this before I even went to Columbia and saw these same statistics that I'm going to read to you right now. That children from single parent homes versus two parent homes. The children from the single parent homes, this is in 1995 I was reading this. 5 times more likely to commit suicide. 6 times more likely to be in poverty. 9 times more likely to drop out of high school. 10 times more likely to abuse chemical substances. 14 times more likely to commit rape, 20 times more likely to end up in prison, and 32 times more likely to run away from home. I knew that. You know why I knew it? Because a lot of my friends didn't have family structures that were nuclear like mine, and they found themselves outside of their dreams and goals and aspirations. So when I see that, or as a mission statement for Black Lives Matter, it makes me scratch my head. When I also see their mission is to eradicate white supremacy. In 2020, white supremacy is the mission. Woo, that's a lot of digging through minutia right there. I am on a show that I'm hosting along with another black guy who is hosting with me, who replaced another black guy. And that's just one example of it. So I understand, I respect your space. I respect what you're protesting for. But will you respect others who don't support that same protest?
I think he's spot on with that. Spot on. And all this hetero patriarchy, dismantling the patriarchy is, in fact, if they're really doing it, and I think they're trying, is very destructive. You take away the patriarch, you can't take away the matriarch either. Both are kind of needed. No, not if you read the revolutionary abolitionist movement commentary where they say gender roles have got to go. No, that's not normal. Before we take a break, I took the test this morning. It's not normal. That's your conclusion. Yeah, it's not normal. I got nothing left to say. It's not. That? Yes, I dismiss it out. It's not normal. It's not normal. And I wanted to do it. You're heteronormative. I'm cis heteronormative. Cis heteronormative. I would like to take a little test with you. I did it this morning, and I have my results. So I will share those, but I think it would be fun if you and I can take the test, how to tell if you have white fragility. This is, of course, based on the Robin DiAngelo book. And I think you'll get a kick out of the questions as much as you will out of the analysis for you. Would you like to play? It's only 4 questions. No, I wouldn't. I think this is an insult to my manhood. But go ahead. I will sit. I will put up. I will tolerate this. Thank you. I understand. It is not easy to do. Here we go. Question number 1. Which of these feelings have you had when someone has suggested that something you've said or done might be racist? And you can check all that apply. So I will mention them. If you want it, I will click the box. So again, which of these feelings have you had when someone has suggested that something you've said or done might be racist? Singled out? Guilty? No. You want to do one by one? Singled out? No. No. Guilty? Yeah. Judged? No. Scared? No. Attacked? No. Shamed? No. Accused? No. Outraged? Nah. Silenced? No. Insulted? No. agree?
No.
Or I've never had any of these feelings.
No.
Yeah. John, if you're not going to play, then don't.
No, I'm playing it. I've never had any of those feelings. I can say no to that because I've had those feelings, but not in that context.
Okay, we'll go to next. We'll just. Oh, you must answer the question.
I did.
No, you have to have. You have to select one at least. Wow, this is breaking.
Oh, well, in other words, every time you select one, then you're already given a point against you.
Oh, wait.
I can't select him. I would be dishonest with myself.
Okay. Well, I've never had any of these feelings as it pertains to this is probably what they mean. So I will select that for you. Next.
Oh, I see. Now you're a mind reader.
Bro.
Okay, go on.
This used to be fun when we did this, and for some reason you've become a grouch about it. It used to be we could laugh at this.
No, I'm not. I'm giving you my honest answers. Jeez.
How have you responded when someone has suggested that sometimes you said that something you said or done might be racist? Again,
well, isn't this the same as the first question?
No. This is different, I guess.
I don't see it.
Well, there's different answers. Okay. So how have you responded? Not how you feel. How did you respond when someone has suggested that something you've said or done might be racist? Did you respond by crying?
Yes. I'm just kidding there. You can say no to that.
Okay.
I have not responded by crying, but I can imagine somebody doing that, which makes it funny.
Did you focus on your intentions?
I'm sorry. What does that even mean?
So if someone has suggested that you've said or done something that might be racist, do you then focus on the intent you had, I guess is what they mean.
I have to leave that blank.
Yeah. Did you argue? Would you have argued it?
Yeah.
Oh, we have one. Would you have denied it?
No.
Would you have emotionally withdrawn?
Nah.
Would you just have avoided it altogether, what the person said?
No, you can't. The premise doesn't allow it.
Did you physically leave the room?
Eventually.
Okay. Did you seek absolution?
From who?
From the person who accused you, I guess.
No, that doesn't make... these questions and answers don't make sense.
We'll wait until you get to the end. Okay, so no to that, and we'll go to the next question. We're almost there. Which of these statements have you made when someone has suggested that something you've said or done might be racist? So when someone says this to you...
This questionnaire seems very topic specific.
Let's just run through it, yes or no. Have you said, I know people of color?
I've never said that.
Did you say, I marched in the 60s? Did you say that? I marched in the 60s. I'm not racist. That's the idea, John.
Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah, I marched in the 60s.
Okay. That's just your opinion?
I'd say that.
You're playing the race card?
Okay, yes to that. I'm on this.
You're on a roll now. You hurt my feelings?
Nah.
You misunderstood me?
No.
The problem is your tone?
Yes.
Yes, I thought so. That was not my intention?
But yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. The real oppression is class or gender or anything other than race? I'd say you would say that. I say it. You probably say it.
I would say that. Yeah. You're true. You're true.
You're true. That's true. How about you don't know me? That's good. I could just see.
I like that one too.
Have you ever said that? I don't believe it. You've said that?
You don't know me?
Okay.
I'd say it.
Yeah, we're marking it off. I disagree. Well, you probably say that one.
Nah, leave that one no.
You are making me feel guilty.
No.
I just said one little innocent thing.
No.
Some people find offense where there is none.
Yes.
I can't.
No, it should have been the question. This should have been different. Some people find offense when there is none, comma, lesbian.
Oh my God, you're so perfect. How about this as a response? I can't say anything right.
No, I would never say that.
And then finally, I have suffered too.
That's a good line, but no, I wouldn't.
All right, last question. I'm so excited. Yeah. Okay, what beliefs do you hold about your relationship to racism? What? These are good questions. Well, tell me about your relationship to racism. Here we go.
Jeez, what is this? This is psycho stuff.
Wait for it. I am free of racism. So yes or no?
No.
Racism is intentional. I only have good intentions.
No.
I am a good person, so I can't be racist.
I wouldn't say that.
Racism is conscious bias. I am not biased, so I am not racist.
I wouldn't say that either.
I have friends of color, so I can't be racist.
That's a dumb answer.
Racism is a simple problem. People just need to open their minds.
I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means.
Anyone who thinks I'm a racist has misunderstood me.
I wouldn't say that.
I am the best judge of whether racism has occurred. No. I have suffered and faced barriers, so I do not have racial privilege. Who says that? It's unkind.
Who says that?
It's unkind to point out racism. Who says that? Okay.
I'm liking that one, though.
Yeah, but you've never said it.
No, of course not.
It's a good answer. Almost there. I was taught to treat everyone the same.
I would say I could give that a yes.
There is no problem. Society is fine the way it is. Heil Hitler.
I'll say yes to that.
My worldview is objective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're done. I probably should have told you up front that this is a poll which is done by Beacon Press. Beacon Press is the publisher of the book. The publisher of the book has done this poll. And I shall read to you your analysis and recommendation. Here we go. Don't worry. You scored between 11 and 19. You have white fragility. But we all have to some degree. This quiz has helped you identify underlying assumptions that you hold about race that engendered these feelings, behaviors, and claims you make when confronted. What can you do now? Well, you should read Robin DiAngelo's White Fragility, Why Is It So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism, to learn what you can do to engage more constructively. It's a fucking ad for a piece of crap book by a dumb lady. Can you believe this?
Yeah, I can believe it. It's marketing.
Oh, but that is not, that you don't do that with a book that is like supposed to be revolutionary. These questions, it's a setup. It's just like the whole woman herself. She's setting everybody up.
Well, if people are stupid enough to give her money, what are you going to do?
By the way,
She's got a good thing going.
I got the exact same advice. I think I have a feeling that everyone gets the same. I doubt it actually goes, oh, hold on.
We've got a racist. We've got a racist. We have tracked your IP address. We are coming to see you now.
It's so demeaning of the topic that she is already demeaning with her idiocy. That's just crazy. And it's all over. This thing is everywhere. Everyone's taking it. Yes.
Why?
Because they want the same standard response. Of course. We're in a nutty world. Or whatever I said the other day. What did I say?
It was something better than that.
It's just, I don't know, whatever it is. But with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in cis-hetero patriarchy, the one and only, the white fragile John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry in the dress. In the morning to you all ships and sea boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the names and nights out there.
And a big ass in the morning to the trolls in the troll room at noagendastream.com, where we always are hanging out together. Well, not always me, but everyone's in there. And we're listening to the No Agenda Show live on Sundays and Thursdays. But there's lots of shows that are live. It's 24/7. And Yeah, you basically listen to some cool shows, no advertising. It's all good. It's all fun. And when you're in there, please ask somebody. You can ask Doug, who runs the troll room. He's the head troll.
Doug.
You can ask Doug for an invite to No Agenda Social. NoAgendaSocial.com is our federated private. Well, it's private, but it's open and federated for the rest of the federated social network on the internet, which rides underneath all of the mainstream social media. The noise is much better, much lower to the signal there than it is anywhere else. And that is NoAgendaSocial.com. And in the morning, to our artist, for episode, let's see, was that 1256, 1256? We titled it White Tears. Do you sense the theme these days? And this artwork was immediately claimed as a possible name for a new Texas sports team, as Darren O'Neill came around again with another winning piece of art for the Texas Surge, which, seriously, a lot of people thought that would be a great sports team name.
Yeah, especially it's already got the logo.
Yeah, it's got a logo.
Skull with a cowboy hat
on a map of Texas. This is, well, you said it. You said it this time. You said, it really pops. And it does. Now, there was some...
In that voice, exact voice.
That's right. There were some troubles with the artwork, and I wanted to know if Comic Strip Blogger is okay. He was doing porn stuff, basically. Did you see? You saw those?
He was sending us a message.
I don't know what it is. Oh, and by the way, swastikas on art. Yeah, we're probably not going to post that. Just not
going to happen.
Just so you know, it's not really considered a great idea.
Yeah, and it won't even get published in Germany. It will get
it's illegal in Germany. That's right.
It's illegal in Germany.
Completely verboten. We do love
we have a lot of German listeners.
We love the art that our artists do. It is part of our Value for Value network. People can contribute in so many different ways, and this type of work. And yeah, it's Darren O'Neill wins the competition quite often, but he's just that good. What is he doing that other people aren't quite figuring out, or that they're not? What exactly is that thing that he hits so often?
He's relaxing his creative energies so he can just, so this stuff comes to him. I know exactly what he's doing. I can't quite do it myself for art, but natural artists can do it. He's kind of a natural artist who doesn't think so. He doesn't know he's an artist. Maybe he does. I don't know. I want to also credit Mountain J for doing the newsletter art, because, but I have to say, I have to mention something here, which is that he did a really funny piece at the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Mountain J's a woman?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, who you just misgendered. Thank you.
I misgendered. I dead named. So Mountain J.
Not quite the same thing.
She should have produced that piece without the show number.
Yes, that was the issue. You can do one with show and one. We don't want everyone doing one with and one without, but it would be nice.
But I had to go in Photoshop and put the proper show number in myself.
I didn't notice anything off. How did it look? The result flawless.
Well, there's a couple of things. There's no shading. I didn't have time. I have a minimum amount of time I put into stuff on Photoshop. And I didn't give it a shadow. The show number, she had a shadow, and I could have put one on there, but it would have taken creating another layer, and I didn't want to. I didn't need it. But I had to erase her number and then put another one in. It took me 10, 15 minutes of time I didn't want to spend. So I'm just going to mention, if you have a really cool piece like that, and it was a cool piece, I liked it. Please.
Do one without. Consider doing one without the show.
Without limiting it to that show and making it, and maybe throwing it over in the evergreen pile.
Right,
because that's an evergreen piece. It was very good.
So the only time
it was funny.
Maybe just to clarify, the only time we use show number art is during the pre-stream when we're getting ready, because it's nice to show people there's an episode, and that's what's, as we're doing the Ride of the Valkyries in Cinco de Mayo, that's when I send that out, the bat signal. So there, it's good to have a number, but not for the shows, not for the shows itself. It's really too bad because we can never use it again.
Right, but unless I'm going to go open up Photoshop and then take the number out, which is something I'm really not inclined to do.
Clearly, you did.
In this case, I was inclined
job.
to do it because the piece was so funny.
Yeah. All right. So
that's rare.
Thank you, Darren O'Neill and Mountain JJ, but really Mountain J, but really all of our artists who submitted. And do not be discouraged. This stuff gets used for all kinds of things, including on hats, mugs, T-shirts, etc. at noagendashop.com, where they will cut the artist in on their sales. So that's beautiful. And it's noagendaartgenerator.com. We love seeing all the art. We love using it. It makes a big difference. People get excited by it. They click, they listen. It helps the product. And now let's thank the people who've supported us with financial donations, our executive and associate executive producers for episode 1257.
Well, that begins with Sir Vince, the Baron of Florabama. Florabama. $500 from Madison, Alabama. And he says, "Hi, John and Adam. I've been enjoying the show since the beginning. Over the years, I've made small donations, all I could afford at the time, that have added up to knighthood and beyond. With this executive producer title, I've reached my fourth knighthood. In lieu of this honor, on the first anniversary of my barony, I want to give damehood to my wife."
Oh, that's nice.
With all the amygdala expanding M5M news recently, this show has been a blessing for us. Also, MoFax has been great. My wife's name is Dame Amber, protector of the children. She has a great passion to protect children no matter the situation they are in. Wishing you a happy 4th of July weekend and a great second half of this crazy year. Sir Vince, Baron of
Florabama. Excellent. And we'll see your good dame, Amber, at the round table a little bit later on. The protector of children she shall be.
Sir Rod is next from Amsterdam.
Roderick. Sir Rod, sure. Do it again.
$450 in Amsterdam. Dear John Adam, been a while showing my support for the best podcast, so respect for you both, keeping the quality of the show at this high level twice a week. Fantastic. John sounds a lot better lately. Is there a new microphone in the house?
No, we upgraded John's DNA, and he's just doing much better.
Couple shots. Bill Gates personally injected me.
It's actually, here's the interesting thing. It was Sir Roderick who turned me on to Clean Feed, which we've been using since the improvement. That's the improvement, is Clean Feed. So thank you.
It's a clean feed.
Sir Rod. It's a very clean feed.
Melton Cuevas in Noblesville, Indiana, $375. He sent an email in.
Do you have it?
I do have it.
Okay, good.
I have it right here somewhere. In the Independence Day morning to you both, and a happy United States of America. Happy birthday to the United States of America. With this donation, please recognize... Okay, I'm going to give you the jingles before I read this note.
Okay.
Anarchy Goat Karma. China is asshole. Good try scumbag. I don't know what that one is.
We have that?
It says good try scumbag sweep.
Oh, yes, we do. Okay, we have it.
If you see something, say something.
Oh, my goodness.
And a foamer.
Okay, read on.
And then the karma should be the go karma with jobs. Jobs karma.
Oh, jobs. Okay, yep, I'm good.
That's for his voluptuous and vivacious vixen of a wife. Ooh. And he writes, with this donation, recognize me as Baron Zacharias, a.k.a. the Taxman. Okay, so he's getting upgraded. This needs to be noted.
Okay, so he is... But he's going from a Sir or Viscount, or it doesn't really matter what he's going to. Okay. I'd
humbly request that Sir Sean Connolly, Viscount of the Federal Reserve District 7, appoint me as the sheriff and magistrate of all Indiana golf courses, where the only masks worn are lust, greed, envy, and pride. Golf material. As we focus on all things Orange Man bad, congressional shenanigans continue. Please see the attached article. The U.S. Senate, recently led by Flamingo Graham, is working on the Earn It Act, eliminating abuse and rampant neglect of interactive technology. Do you know about this?
Yeah, they're trying to remove encryption. everyone's all giddy about it.
Boy,
but it's not.
Up
it's
on
not.
that.
Hey, I'm sorry. What was his Baron name again?
His Baron name is going to be Baron Zacchaeus, Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus. I don't know. It's probably Zacchaeus.
Okay, yeah.
AKA, wait a minute, AKA the tax man.
Okay.
So there's some joke there. I don't know what it is. He goes on, it's a bipartisan effort to give the DOJ more power to monitor private content. It would seem this has been going on. You know, I've witnessed this for over 30 years. The government's been trying to eliminate encryption. This act would be more accurately titled, "You're effed. Your own unconditional rights evaporate from existence daily." This is his version of it's funny. As always, the truth wants to come out. Graham's office did not return requests for comment, but it previously said his goal here is not to outlaw encryption. That would be a debate for another day. However, Barr...
Sure. Yeah.
However, Barr, who would be given a large amount of power under the new act, has been outspoken about his desire to force technology companies to allow law enforcement to bypass encryption. Of course he does. That's what you do.
But I just want
if you're in that business. It makes your job easier.
I followed this. I just need to say something, to insert something. You don't need to be going crazy. What they're talking about is encryption when it's end-to-end with some provider. So that's your Apple, your iOS backup, that's your WhatsApp messages, that's probably your Google Gmail. You can encrypt stuff yourself and send messages to people. This is about the Silicon Valley portion of it. OTG, go away from it. I encrypt email all the time. No one's going to stop me. Can they crack it? Yeah, maybe. I mean, who the hell knows? It's certainly going to slow them down. But there's no keys that Apple or Facebook or anyone else will hand to law enforcement. So stop with the fear-mongering. Get off those platforms. Learn to communicate with something more efficient. And thanks for the donation. We really appreciate it.
Nothing to see here, he writes. Move along and wear a mask.
All right, here's your jingles, man. Is it done? That's it?
Yeah.
China's asshole.
Good try, scumbag.
If you see something, say something.
What the hell is that?
Oh my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Onward, Nichelle Moore in Raleigh, North Carolina, $351. Thanks for all that you do. This donation will complete my damehood. She's on the list. I would like to be known as Dame of the Triangle. My only request is jobs karma.
You got it, Dame. Dame to be today. Looking forward to seeing you at the round table.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Mark Bensick comes up in Lansing, Michigan at $350. ITM podfather and grumpy old archivist. This installment finally makes me eligible for knighthood. See accounting. This is my celebration of the making of my 54th trip around the sun, which I will complete in July 8th. We should put him on the birthday list.
Okay.
I would like to thank you, too. No Agenda is not nearly the best podcast in the universe. It's the best source of information and sanity available anywhere. Oh,
hello.
If there are no objections, I would like to be knighted Sir Mr. French, fermentationist of Michigan Mirkwood. I would like some French toast with blackberries and melomel at the round table.
Brother.
And he...
I mean,
may I hear somebody's...
You have to understand, it's very hard to get melomel this time of year. It's just not really in the season.
You can get it frozen. Come on, we all know that.
We don't serve frozen crap to our knights and dames, but okay.
He wants to hear somebody's
Low
getting
rent.
cornholed, followed by sounds pretty good.
Wants French toast, but wants someone to get cornholed. Our producers are the best.
Sounds pretty good, and then great gig in the Yoko Ono, and maybe a little day trading karma.
Okay. He turns 54 on the 9th. Just want to make sure I wrote it down right. Is that what he said?
Yep.
Okay, here you go.
9th.
And thank you for your courage, Mark.
Someone's getting cornholed today.
Sounds like a recipe for success to me.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
You've got karma.
Christopher Hubbard's up next, 333-74 from Denver. Hey, Denver. Yo, Denver. I need some You May Die Karma, or You May Die Boogity Boogity ITM from the hybrid hominid of Denver, where a noodle girl has gone vigilante in a small business for cultural appropriation, as the business owner is a white woman and the shop sells Mexican blankets.
Oh, no!
I want to thank you, gentlemen, for what felt like a personal favor when Adam announced that Boogity 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 had been made available as a jingle, as it had not been available upon my first request. I was so excited when I heard this news, I pumped my fist in the air like a protester.
Okay.
I'm also very pleased with the No Agenda Tribe. It will give... I'm sorry. I'm also very pleased with the love shown for Jim Meador, as he was one of the first voices I heard exposing the extreme hypocrisy of the Democratic Party. I hope members of the No Agenda Tribe will give his shows a listen, if for nothing out more than the hilarious impressions of celebrities and politicians done by Austinite Mike McRae. I really liked his last Thursday's... Is this a promotion?
Yeah.
For his last Thursday's episode because JCD seemed that he was in his best mood since I first started listening after Adam's appearance on JRE.
Wow.
You've also recently clipped one of my favorite podcasters, Brett Weinstein, who gives excellent analysis of SARS-CoV-2 through his perspective as an evolutionary biologist. Well, I understand why JCD doesn't love him. I would love to hear a take on Dark Horse Duo plan from you all. Thanks again for everything. Okay.
You know what this is? I'll tell you what the Dark Horse Duo plan is. It's everything. So I like Brett Weinstein's take on everything up until this point. So in order to save the Republic, his idea is we have a unity ticket of, and he mentions specifically an admiral and some other guy. And one would be right of center, one would be left of center. They'd flip a coin. One does presidency for 4 years, the other vice president. Then they switch. That one's vice president. It's a stupid, idiotic plan. Completely, you cannot. I mean, we have a constitution. These things are arranged, and he wants to. It's so weird. You've got to see him talking about it. Everything is so smart, and then he gets this idea, and he's really pushing it. He pushed it on Rogan, pushed it on Tucker Carlson, and he can't explain it in less than 10 minutes. The unity, what is it called? The Dark Duo.
There's two brothers here. Which one are we talking about?
This is the Brett is the one from Evergreen. So the high end biologist.
There's one that works for Peter Thiel, and there's one.
That's the. I think this is the Evergreen guy who got kicked out of Evergreen.
All right. Yeah, it's dumb.
Thanks. And that's our take.
To summarize.
And that's our take, everybody.
You might die.
There you go. There's your boogity boogity and your You Might Die. Thank you very much, Mark.
John Caverick's up next from Bellevue, Nebraska. 33333. He wants Jobs Karma. China is asshole. Kim Jong Yum Yum. This donation is for my son. I wanted to wish Boo Boo, Elliot Miller Caverick, a happy 16th birthday. I'm sure he loves being called Boo Boo by the podcasters. To my surprise, the only thing he wanted for his birthday was a producer credit. Ha! Your show has been an amazing source of discussion between us, and I believe it's strengthened our relationship tremendously.
Aww.
Shout out to our friends and family that helped make this donation possible. The following is his note. Oh. Greetings from Bellevue, Nebraska. My name is Boo Boo. Well, I guess he likes the name. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
Hey, Boo Boo. On July 6th, I will be 16 years old. I'm currently working on becoming a plumber thanks to my school's dual enrollment opportunities. That's good.
Yeah.
Ever since my dad hit me in the mouth, I've been listening on and off, and I am proud to be a Zoomer with an amygdala that is reasonably sized. But don't forget, the cake is a lie, and we are 138.
I think we just got trolled somehow. I'm not sure exactly what the kid is saying.
Well, whatever.
Excellent, Boo-Boo. Well, very nice to have you here.
Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-un.
You've got karma.
We continue with this 333.33.
Crazy.
With Mr. E in San Jose, California. Also sent an email to John with the subject donation 333, Mr. E. Yeah, well. Listener since day one with a period overboard that coincided with the worst few years of my life. Coincidence? I think not. This donation takes me to knighthood. Please dub me Sir E of Silicon Valley. The long-awaited dissertation, War and Peace. That is all. Thank you. Jingle request. Shadow Puppet Theater. Keep up the good work. Signed, he who shall be Sir E of Silicon Valley.
That is so short.
Shadow Puppet Theater.
And we'll see you at the round table. Thank you, Mr. E.
Sir Fish in Missoula, Montana. 333.33. Sir Fish here. It's been time for me to finalize my baronhood. This 333 puts me over the top. I'm a faithful listener since number one and a Dvorak fan since his Computer Chronicle visits.
Wow.
Being a retired aquatic biologist, I figured Baron von Fish, protective of our slimy friends, sounded good. However, in light of the fact that my spouse of 42 years still refuses to listen and refers to the show as, quote, your stupid radio program, unquote, I think Baron von Stupid is more appropriate.
Baron von Stupid.
If she knew I had donated over $3,000, it would mean Baron von Stupid divorced. This just in from July 11th, 2020. Yeah, July 11th is what he says.
That's what it says.
Ghislaine Maxwell is COVID-19 positive and sent to the hospital, not jail. Saw this through a crack in the matrix on Facebook. I was removed immediately. Gone now. Back next week. Baron von Stupid out.
All right, Baron von Stupid. And we'll give you that official title in our second segment today. Thank you. Go easy on the missus. Go easy. Definitely don't tell her about the donations if she thinks it's a stupid radio show. It's not even a show. It's a stupid radio program, which is a little worse than being a stupid
radio
show.
Program.
Stupid radio program.
It's coming over speakers and his voice. It must be radio.
Thanks,
Sir Anthony Trusnick, Baron of the Philippines in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Poplar, as in the tree. 333 even. Greetings, Anthony Trusnick, Baron of the Philippines. I wanted to let you know this donation goes toward my cottagecore goblin princess wife's damning, and I would like the producer to cred out to Brittany Trusnick.
Okay.
By the way, she requested a respect. That's a switcheroo.
Yes,
here.
I'm doing it. I'm already on it.
By the way, she was a respect jingle. She requested a respect jingle, and I would like a 69. I would want to call out Dildo Embalmer as a douchebag. For you OTG fans out there, I want to direct you to Sovereign Tech, SOVRYN, quote, the show about how to stay human amidst all the technocratic malarkey. Boom.
That's the tagline of this show?
I don't know.
The show about how to stay human amidst all the technocratic malarkey. Are you sure you're not moonlighting? You're the only other person I know besides Joseph
Joe
Biden.
Biden uses malarkey.
That's why Joseph Biden uses it.
Joseph Biden. What am I thinking?
Joseph Biden. Thank you very much. And Brittany indeed shall receive this. And here's what you requested.
RESPICT. 69, dudes!
Oh, classic. Okay, you might as well read the next one because you're right. I don't have it.
While you're doing that, I will read. I will go to Associate Executive Producer John Robinett for $244. We have a lot of people today on the high end, which is nice. ITM and Happy U.S. Independence Day to you both. The housekeeping up for the front is $244 for 244 years of independence. That would have been a good donation to put in the newsletter.
Sure would.
And should combine. We'll do $245. Should be combined with my regular monthly donation of $100 to bump up to executive producer. I didn't catch. Oh, okay. Well, there's another thing we got to deal with. We'll put you up to executive. I didn't catch the scheduled payment in time to stop it and send a single donation. Apologies for any bookkeeping difficulties. And that's just a note. Every so often, John remarks during the donation segment that he thinks I am a sir. However, this is not the case. Despite exceeding the threshold for knighthood, it's still not the case. But don't fret that you have created a black knight through negligence. I simply have not requested a knighting until today. So the fault is entirely mine. I keep it simple and request to be known as Sir John of the Falls, which is an area in Germany. A good wine growing area of late. I will refrain from upgrading my title until a future donation since I have been lax in scoping out a suitable protectorate. Could I please get some test-taking goat karma, since it will hopefully both prevent the test center from closing down due to COVID and help me with the testing itself. Keep up the great work.
Yes, we have the goat karma.
You've got karma.
Okay, I have the note. I believe this is the note. What has he done here? He sent the note. Adam, below is my message for the forthcoming donation for Sunday show. Please say Adam from Austin for anonymity. Also, WTF, what can we do on a local level in Austin? How do we turn the tide? Message for the show. Here we go. Adam and John. By the way, he also has Tourette's, and we are both now considering that the name Adam could be Tourette's prone. Isn't that interesting? That's your random number theory. Adam and John, I should be a knight now, but I'm taking some time to come up with the perfect name. Suggestions? I request a Kaylee ISO, and that you mention the creepy text from the state of Texas below and my bilingual response. Any suggestions on pushing back against this insanity is welcome. So first, in reverse order, I too have received the creepy text, even on the OTG phone. The creepy texts pretty much go, you are now in the state of Texas. There is a mandatory mask requirement. And then you get one in Spanish, as I presume the same message. And I got 2 voicemails with the same message from a robocall. However, Adam and Austin, replying to these is pretty useless. There's no human being on the other end. There's nothing you can do about this. Just as welcome to the new normal. And what was the other question? He wants a night name suggestion? I don't know. I mean, that's not something we typically take responsibility for?
No, we never take responsibility for it, and I don't think we should make a habit of doing so. I mean, I'd call him Adam of Tourette's.
I like it.
All right, let's just use that.
Adam of Tourette's. But does that mean he's being knighted today?
Well, it sounds like it from the note.
Okay, then we're going to do that. I mean, it's the back office is busy. There's a lot going on. Okay, so we have Adam in Austin. Adam in Austin.
Restart to install the latest Windows upgrade. Hold on a second. Pick a time.
I hope you're saying no.
I hope so, too, when I click on this. Pick a time. Hold on. I will do it on pick a day.
All right. While you're resetting
Friday,
your Microsoft, I will go to our first associate executive producer. We only have 3 of them today. And this is John Robinett with $244. But let's see what his note is here. In the morning, happy U.S. Independence Day to you both. Housekeeping up front, the 244 for 244 years of independence should combine with my regular monthly donation of $100 to bump up to executive producer. I didn't catch the scheduled payment in time to stop it and send a single donation. Okay, so we'll catch you later on down the list. Apologies for any bookkeeping difficulties.
I read.
I'm sorry. You read all that. No, I was doing something else. Baronet Sir Rogue of the Taverns. That's the one we get then. Hi, John and Adam. Baronet Sir Rogue of the Taverns here, and happy Canada Day. And forth from Victoria, BC, in the prettiest little city that no one is visiting right now. This is 333.77 Scandinavian dollarettes for equal credit, so you will be an executive producer, which is what we do for our British, our UK, and our Australian producers. Adam, to answer your question that I'm sure already was answered, yes, Canadians do shoot off fireworks for Canada Day. We really are just Americans after all. Oh, we really are just America's hat after all. I'm sorry. You're our hat. Have you heard this expression? Canada's
yes,
our hat?
Yeah, that's
please
been here and there.
Please give the producer credit for this donation to my daughter, Amber, as I
another
one. Okay, so it's Amber of the, I'll just say Amber of the Taverns then, I guess. Amber of the Taverns. As I'm starting her on the road to damedom. The show has been a great mind calmer during the Rona lockdowns, then the openings, riots, and new surge, whatever that is. It's been an interesting time during the past 16 weeks of the Rona. I spent a lot of my newfound free time building out an oasis urban forest garden. Nice. For those interested, please check out theroguestavern.com. Put me on the birthday list for July 7th as I'm completing 56 trips around the sun this year. I'd like the following jingles, Random Sharpton. Oh, my goodness. Could you... now, see, this is why it's a problem when I read it, because then I have to stop and have to go line up the jingles. So could you please read the jingles?
I will read these to you, and you can take a note. Okay. Random Sharpton, 6969, which we played earlier, another random number curiosity.
Yeah, that is
6969, dudes. That, to me, is so obscure
that happens is very obscure. Because that's an old
obscure
one. That's a very old
And then a boogity again. Yeah. And then a stereo goat cream karma for everybody and everyone.
Ah, yes. Well, we've also resurrected the goat cream.
RESPICT. 69, dudes.
You've got karma.
Makes me dizzy, that one does.
Last on the list is Chad Finkbeiner in Highland Heights, Ohio, who just writes simply, you two are one of the many positive things in my life right now.
Oh.
Please give me baby-making karma and jobs karma. Chad in Cleveland Heights.
You bet, and thank you very much. And you're the highlight
outside of
for
Cleveland,
us,
if anyone wants to know.
You bet.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And that's it. That's our executive and associate executive producers for show 1257. I want to thank each and every one of them for making the show possible. The show would not be possible without your help.
Literally not possible, Ann Perkins.
Not possible.
Not possible. Indeed. And we'll thank more of you outside of the execs and associate execs in our second segment coming up in just a little bit. John, you said it right, though. Without this entire model, the show would not be made. Can you imagine taking the white fragility test on a mainstream radio show?
No.
Exactly. I think
if you want to get fired.
After question one, the hotline would be ringing. Okay, you're done. Goodbye. Just pick up your check. It's the end. Please consider helping us for our next show. We'll be doing it on Thursday. We love having you here. We love the participation. Jingles, clips, artwork, money, blankets, water. Send it to us. Go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
That's right. We've got our nose to the ground and our eye on the future.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
Whew. Yes. Do you remember John who he worked for Airbus. He was up in Kansas, and he lived in. I visited him on one of the Hot Pockets tours, I think.
Vaguely,
he had the beach boat, the golf cart dune buggy, orange one. If you're no,
oh yes,
yeah, you remember that
dune buggy guy.
So he has that picture of the. He probably still sells those beach dune buggy golf carts. So I should ask him what the URL is. So he still has that picture, and he was. I think it was on. Oh, and it was Facebook, and he sent me a screen capture. Facebook tried to do a facial recognition on me, and guess what picture it chose to match me with?
Okay. I don't know what picture. Okay, tell me.
Siegfried of Siegfried and Roy.
Oh, it's the hair.
What is that? What is that all about? First of all, the guy, is he even alive? Who's the one that got eaten? Or that is dead?
I think Roy died.
But what Siegfried got eaten, didn't he?
No, it was Roy, wasn't it? The dark-haired guy.
I don't know.
The tiger. He was the real tiger guy.
Well, anyway, meh for AI. I mean, that's
what do you expect?
That's pretty
that's
far.
good. And you don't have to worry about getting called out.
That's pretty far off. I don't know.
So I have a copy of one of the Trump ads that floats around the social networks. Compared to the Biden ad where he's mumbling and you can't hear a word he's saying.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
This is more of a kind of ad that I expect. It's a 30-second ad. I don't know if anyone's going to place it anywhere, but it's already floating around, and I think it's kind of funny.
You have reached the 911 police emergency line. Due to defunding of the police department, we're sorry, but no one is here to take your call. If you're calling to report a rape, please press 1.
No.
To report a murder, press 2. To report a home invasion, press 3. For all other crimes, leave your name and number, and someone will get back to you. Our estimated wait time is currently 5 days. Goodbye.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
The sad thing is, this is kind of actually happening. It's not even that far off the mark.
Yeah. I found it amusing.
Do these really? Sometimes I get the idea that a lot of, or many of the commercials are made just for social media and hopefully to have someone play it on television. They're not all necessarily for television.
I agree.
There's got to be a whole thinking behind that.
They do a lot of spitballing on the social medias.
Spitballing. Before we forget, I did want to make mention of the climate activist who posted this. Of course, this got lost in the shuffle of everything that's happening and all the distraction. You may have read this. On behalf of environmentalists, I apologize for the climate scare. Did you hear about this?
No.
Oh, this is so good. So this is a guy who has been a climate. What is he? Well, he's an environmentalist, but he's an energy. He's an expert. He's been in Congress. Let me see. Here, energy expert asked by Congress to provide objective expert testimony. Invited by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, to serve as expert reviewer of its next assessment report. Because of all this, I feel an obligation to apologize for how badly we environmentalists have misled the public. And then he lists this, and it's a great article. There's like 10 points here that he's going to say. These are the actual facts. And of course, this was published on Forbes, and they took it down. And then he put it on Medium, and I think they took it down from Medium. So this guy is getting the ultimate deplatforming.
Wow. This doesn't surprise me either.
Yeah, he says, it may seem strange. I may seem like a strange person to be saying all of this. I've been a climate activist for 20 years and an environmentalist for 30.
I'll put it up on Cosmic Weenie.
Yeah. Hey, for longevity's sake. Exactly. So read his whole post. It'll be on the Cosmic Weenie, also in the show notes. But here's what I want to pull out of it. I feel an obligation to apologize for how badly we environmentalists have misled the public. Here are some facts few people know. 1, humans are not causing a 6th mass extinction. The Amazon is not the lungs of the world. Jeez, this is almost like No Agenda show rundown.
It's all No Agenda stuff.
climate change is not making natural disasters worse. By the way, the guy's not denying climate change. He's just saying this is the fear-mongering that he's participated in. He wants to set the record straight. Fires have declined 25% around the world since 2003. Huh. The amount of land we use for meat, humankind's biggest use of land, has declined by an area nearly as large as Alaska. Huh. The buildup of wood fuel and more houses near forests, not climate change, explain why there are more and more dangerous fires in Australia and California. Heresy, I say. Carbon emission.
Take him down. Take him down.
We've got to get rid of this guy real quick. This is fantastic. Carbon emissions are declining in most rich nations and have been declining in Britain, Germany, and France since the mid-1970s. Now, here's one. When I read this, I was angry at myself for a full day that I have never brought this up on this very show. Here it comes. The Netherlands became rich, not poor, while adapting to life below sea level. What a facepalm. The Netherlands is 80% of the Netherlands is under sea level, is under sea, literally under, is protected by dikes. So Miami, what you bitching about? I think that's the point of what he's saying here.
It's kind of the point.
Yeah. Or Maldives, figure it out.
Yeah, build a wall.
Build a dike. We produce 25% more food than we need, and food surpluses will continue to rise as the world gets hotter. Habitat loss and the direct killing of wild animals are bigger threats to species than climate change. Wood fuel is far worse for people and wildlife than fossil fuels. Yeah, wood fuel is now considered a renewable nut jobs. Preventing future pandemics requires more, not less, industrial architecture. I know that the above facts will sound like climate denialism, but to many people, but that just shows the power of climate alarmism. In reality, listen to this. In reality, the above facts came from the best available scientific studies, including those conducted by or accepted by the IPCC, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, and other leading scientific bodies. You can go ahead and you can go read it. And this is beautiful. Now, of course, zero traction. The guy, he may even be dead for all we know. I mean, this will never get any further than this, but I thought it was nice to mention, and I thank him for his courage. Very courageous.
Yeah, no kidding.
Very courageous.
Well, then let's play my one and only clip about climate science. Here it is. 100 degrees in Siberia.
100? Oh, 100, number 100. Got it.
Let me just ask you about one other thing. We mentioned the Arctic Circle recording its highest temperature on record in a Siberian town. 100 degrees?
Yeah, this was something that was so bizarre, it took me a while to actually process. So it was in the town of Verkhoyansk, which is about 3,000 miles east of Moscow, up in Siberia, which, just to give you some bearing, is roughly 1,300 miles farther north than Fairbanks, Alaska. They hit 100 degrees on Saturday, which is the northernmost 100-degree reading on record, and also the warmest temperature ever recorded in the Arctic. So I had to ask myself, was this legit? Well, Sunday also hit 95.3 degrees, lending credence to the 100-degree reading, and a nearby weather balloon measured 70 degrees a mile up in the atmosphere. So when you extrapolate that down to the surface, it makes sense. The World Meteorological Organization preliminarily accepted it, and so I was shocked to see, but yes, it is indeed a legitimate reading. And we have data there going back to 1885. That's 130 plus years of data. We've never seen anything like this before. And we can't just say, hey, this is climate change. What we can say, events like this made much more likely thanks to climate change in one of the fastest warming regions of the entire world.
Huh.
And there you have it.
I have to think about his calculation. He said 70 degrees at
75
at
1 mile up.
At 1 mile up, because we learned as an aviator, for every 1,000 feet, you drop 1 degree in temperature.
And then by your calculation, for every 1,000 feet, a mile up is only 5,000 feet, so it should be -5. It should have been 95 up there.
Okay, so close enough. All right, that makes sense.
Close enough. It's not even close. 75, 95, same thing.
No, it's 75 up at a mile up. So at the surface, it could be 95. That makes sense.
Well, you said it drops 1 degree every 1,000 feet.
Every 1,000 feet, you go up.
Yeah, well, you're at the surface, and you go up a mile, which is 5,000 feet.
No, the surface is 95, and then you go up 5,000 feet.
And so you lose 1 degree times 5.
No, it must be degrees Celsius, so you have to do...
that's okay. Well, there's just something to miss.
Don't fly with me. That's the basic rule here. I'm out of practice. Pay no attention to the pilot who hasn't flown in a while.
I got a clip here that I think you played on the last show.
Okay.
Or I heard it someplace else, and I think you played it on the last show.
Okay.
And it's bugging me, so I said I'm going to play this clip and see if he remembers it. Because I've heard the clip before.
Is it cute middle schooler rants?
The Nobel...
No.
What?
No, I was just guessing which one it was. No, I'm sorry.
It's the Nobel scientist bitching and moaning about being...
Yes.
You played it on the last show.
Yeah, we played it on the last show. I don't mind playing again. It's very good for people to hear this, and that'll be good because we can go straight into my little coronavirus an analysis of the corona from a different perspective. So this is a Nobel scientist. He's on a video call, like a Zoom call with other Nobel people. We never see them, but it has the badge, and the Nobel Society badge video is on there. And he's pretty. He's a professor at Harvard, and he's very pissed off.
No one wants to share anything. The scientists are more panicked and scared of reality than anybody else. August organizations like Lindau, the Royal Society, the National Academy of Science have been totally silent. I am really disappointed. This has got nothing to do with the politics. As a group, scientists have failed the younger generation. There should have been a committee formed either by the Nobel Foundation, by Lindau, by the Royal Society, the National Academy, in the middle of February, when this was coming down the road, and we should have discussed this. Instead, we let economics and politics dedicate the science. And for me, the worst opposition I got was from very, very prominent scientists who were so scared that the non-scientists would break quarantine and infect them. There was total panic. And the fact is that almost all the science we were hearing, for example, from organizations like the World Health Organization, was wrong. We had Facebook censoring the World Health Organization, contrary views. This has been a disgraceful situation for science, and I have nothing to do. We should have been talking with each other. Reports were released openly, shared by email, and all I got back was abuse. And you got to see that everything I said in that first 6 weeks was actually true, and for political reasons, we as scientists let our views be corrupted. The data had very clear things to say. Nobody said to me, let me check your numbers. They all just said, stop talking like that.
That's a great punchline for him.
I want to mention, by the way, that that's a generality that he has there about the scientists being cowed is the same thing with the with global warming studies.
Of course, it's the same problem. Science...
It's exactly the same thing. Scientists have turned into a bunch of weenies.
Well, they may also just be out of options because a lot of science may have taken a wrong turn somewhere. And so one of our producers sent me an episode of London Real. I think it was a 2-hour episode of a podcast, which is long for me. But I was so enthralled by it, in particular because I think that you're the right guy to talk to about this. This is Zach Bush. And he's a doctor, he's an MD who was doing cancer research, and then he had an oh crap moment, and he said, we're doing it all wrong. All the medication we're giving to people is actually, he talks about two things, the soil of the earth ruined by Roundup Ready, and the soil of your gut, of your body, which is where all your viruses and all this stuff lives, that he says we're treating incorrectly because that is actually where health comes from. Is from your own process with viruses. It's in your gut. It's where
your flora.
Thank you, your flora. What is interesting is he says that the varying results of coronavirus, of COVID-19, I should say, the illness, that some people get very sick, some people have nothing, some people just get a drippy nose, some people immediately die. I mean, there's all these different variations. And he says it is in large part just due to the health of the human being and where we've put everybody. And I just pulled some pertinent clips, but he goes very deep into look at, our kids are all messed up. We're filled with pills, and that you can't lie about that. And it doesn't look like the next generation is getting any healthier with the process that we're taking. But he also attributes a lot of the death to air pollution. And you were an air pollution inspector, were you not?
Yes, I was.
So how dangerous is air pollution in general to your human health?
Well, it's not as dangerous as it was in the 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things you breathe that are certain kinds of nitrous compounds, some acids in the air. I think it's pretty clean of late. I don't know what he's talking about, to be honest about it.
I'm good. I'm happy that you said that because I really don't know. So we'll start with him, and first his premise that the medical community has gone down the wrong path, but they are complicit in all the fear mongering.
The mentality of the science community, and including myself at that time, was that we are here to stamp out disease. But the idea of health and healing is remote and feels new agey or somehow like, fake science. And so that's an extraordinary mistake we made in medical education over the last 100 years, was to forget the opportunity to create such resilient health that we would be resistant to disease. Instead, we focused all of our trillions of dollars of research and development and trillions of hours of manpower, research and ingenuity and intuition on disease management instead of health. And so the result is what you see around you. And so the reason the dialogue looks like it is in the government and the WHO and the CDC and the UK system there, you guys are part of this big machine of fear that we created as physicians as well. And so as physicians and scientists, we have created the fight against cancer and the fear of bacterial infections, the fear of viral infections, when in fact, none of that's really underpinned by the current science. Science has radically changed in the last 20 years, and it hasn't trickled down into the mindset of the physicians, the scientists, and especially the clinicians yet.
So that's just kind of what I told you a minute ago, his reasoning behind everything being wrong, that the science has actually changed. We're learning that your body is, in fact, trying to heal itself, and we're often giving people things that destroy that entire process. And when I first started listening, John, he started talking about the population extinction. And I was like, oh, not one of these dickheads. But he sees it differently. He thinks that we are actually physically dying out due to such poor health, and that this is part of the evolutionary process, that we're almost halfway through extinction and people have to die because they will not grow strong through this next upgrade of DNA, which he claims the coronavirus, COVID-19, the novel coronavirus is a part of. It was kind of mind-blowing.
I think the power has definitely been taken away from the individual to pursue health. And so with the marbled halls and the white coats and the stethoscopes and all the fancy trappings of MRI machines and CT scans and billions of dollars of laboratories, we give the impression that we know what the hell is going on. And the reality is we have no clue, because we have been going down this wrong avenue of education and believing that the human system is this isolated, system that has to fight off disease, and most importantly, it needs an immune system to kill all microorganisms around it so that it doesn't die, so we don't get an infection. That is the mentality that is out there, both in the physician, the scientist, and the public still. And yet we know as of 30 years ago that, oh my gosh, a human can't survive unless the microorganisms within it are thriving in massive biodiversity. And in the last 15 years, it's been mind-blowing to realize that's not isolated to our gut. In fact, we have bacteria, fungi, viruses teeming in every single organ of our body to produce health. And in fact, when we start to slip into disease, the microbiome goes into an adaptation stress response system to try to recover our health.
Now, as someone who doesn't go to a regular doctor, I'm way into this. I don't know if this is hitting any buttons for you. Probably not, I feel.
No.
Okay.
Not.
Here's where I think you'll pick it up.
It's not that I haven't heard this pitch before.
Right. That's exactly. Well, it's just an alternative pitch. I mean, we're out of ideas.
I take probiotic stuff because it's tasty.
Do you also have Flintstone vitamins? Because they're tasty. I love those. The gummies, my favorite. So now he's going to get into how Roundup is a part of this problem. And he describes something very interesting, which I don't know if this is true, but what happens, how Roundup is helpful and not helpful.
As it turns out, we are so slow to change our behavior because we keep seeing in the hospital, for example, examples of here's an infection. If I don't treat that infection, this patient is going to die. And so we forget then to back up and say the reason that patient has an infection is because we so damaged the soil system that there's now weed-like growth of a couple of organisms, and we're going to go in and try to wipe out the weeds. And the response is going to be more and more aggressive weeds and more drug-resistant weeds. And that's, of course, exactly what I see now when I'm working with farmers all the time now in their soil systems. When I go out into a farm on a conventional landscape, it's not unusual for us to see these, Roundup-resistant weeds that are taking over farms. They can be the size of Christmas trees, these weeds with like trunk-like size things. They've been so forced into this extreme effort to recover the biology of this dying soil system. As soon as you stop trying to kill them, 1 year later, that soil no longer has that weed present. The need for that weed went away because the soil began to recover its ecosystem. And so if in our damage control, we need a moment of antibiotics, we need to, instead of saying now you're better from your pneumonia, we need to say, we just made things worse. And you're going to come back next year or in a few months with something much worse. And unfortunately, that may be cancer because we just wiped out your microbiome again.
So I didn't know, and I don't know that it is true, that, and later on in this show, in the podcast, he talks about these weeds that have been treated with Roundup Ready, and some of them grow as big as Christmas trees. But then when they stopped using the Roundup, within 1 year, they were all gone because they had no reason to try and fight anything. So they didn't become super weeds, and they just dissolved into the new soil of the earth.
It sounds like bullshit.
Okay. We're almost there. What this is, and of course he makes the comparison between Roundup in the soil and the flora and the soil in your gut, your the stuff that supposedly heals you. And what we're going through right now in this period is a DNA upgrade.
But it's not to say that people aren't dying. It is actually to say that people are dying, and people are dying related to an exposure to a respiratory virus. There's huge problems with our diagnostic tool here. PCR is the tool that's been used globally to determine if somebody has COVID or not. And PCR stands for polymerase chain reaction. It's an amplification technique for finding small amounts of DNA. It is a very big dilemma because the presence of that DNA doesn't mean you're ever going to get sick from that virus. Most of us will have that DNA in our bloodstream for a period of time as we go into our genetic update. As we're taking this virus in, we proliferate the virus to get it into enough cells in the body, and then we reach homeostasis where we've taken in enough of that genetic information that we stop making it. And so, or we make tiny amounts of it. And so that balance with that DNA has nothing to do with whether we're going to develop disease or not. Again, most people exposed to COVID were asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic. And so the presence of the DNA has nothing to do with whether that person is going to die in the coming months.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of fits in somehow because we're not doing a traditional vaccine. We're doing an RNA vaccine, which is in fact supposed to do something with your DNA. Is it possible that these fuckers are really keeping us inside because they know that we're about to reach a DNA upgrade, part of evolution, and they don't want us to be resilient? I'm just guessing.
Well, that's kind of what those guys in Bakersfield said. But since you're going to be playing this, you should have started this with the second half of the show.
No, I have the last one, which is the killer.
Oh, I thought that was the wrap.
No, here comes the air pollution part. That's why I set you up for it. Get ready.
We need to connect everybody back to nature as fast as possible to stop this pandemic from killing people. And in fact, we did that by mistake, and we locked everybody down. And the result was we stopped planes, we stopped all of the carbon particulate matter in the air, we stopped farming, we stopped spraying. In fact, there was a cessation of the pipeline of Roundup from China being produced in China to the United States, and suddenly farmers couldn't get their cheap glyphosate and Roundup, and they had to stop spraying. And I was just like dancing in the streets. I was like, finally, like it wasn't the science, it wasn't anything that made this rational decision to stop spraying chemicals into our soil. It was actually a false belief in a virus or a false understanding of that virus that led to the right response, which was stop freaking killing the planet for a moment. And in Hubei province, we have the most beautiful demonstration of this. Hubei typically will have 150 to 200 microns of this carbon particulate air pollution per cubic meter. And by the time they had been in lockdown for 6 weeks, it had gone below 35 microns. We haven't seen that in decades in China, that low of air pollution counts. And as soon as it went below 40, the mortality from COVID suddenly stopped and it flatlined. And everybody in the world was just screaming, well, China's lying. China's lying. They just aren't telling us the truth anymore. Maybe, but I can tell you there's a very good physiologic explanation why suddenly the mortality rate went so low. Is because they cleaned up the atmosphere indirectly. And so with this next fall coming on, we're going to see another surge of all of the respiratory conditions out there, from pneumococcal bacterial pneumonia to COVID or whatever you want to blame it on. But we're going to see an abnormal relationship with airborne pathogens again because of the amount of carbon particulate that starts in the second week of November. And that accumulation of carbon particulate in the air throughout the world is the result of the silencing of the soil in fall and winter. When the northern hemisphere goes into its fall and winter state and stops pulling carbon out of the atmosphere, we get a rapid accumulation of carbon. And every year in the third week of November, we say flu season starts. Flu season is carbon toxicity season. That's it.
Theremin.
I just wanted to. Yeah. Really? Is it that? It's so believable. I so want to buy into what this guy.
He's making these errors. He's conflating when he says microns. That refers to size of a particle, not the concentration.
That was a computer company. I don't even know what the hell he's talking about.
And there's things like that. This guy's full of shit.
But yes. But
since you played this guy, whoever he is,
Zach Bush, MD. Zach Bush, MD.
Yeah, MD. Master of Deception. Let's play something I've been collecting.
Oh.
There's a podcaster named Veronica Bay.
Okay.
And she's like a Latinx or so. I don't even know what she is, but she's got a slick operation as a podcast, and she's kind of like one of these female video podcasters on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
She has a very slick show, and she kind of fell in love with this black guy who's named the Young Pharaoh, and he seems like what we used to call in the 70s a shuck and jive artist, but he sounds really good, and she just thinks he's the greatest thing ever. And so if you want to hear some wacky ideas, we should listen to Young Pharaoh on the Veronica Bay Show.
You made a statement that's very important. You said it felt like it's the end of the world, and that's because it is. And the reason I'm saying that is because people need to understand language. Language is very important. Language changes according to the agenda of these people. And so the word world used to be age. It was replaced. The word age was replaced with the word world. So if you read any religious book or if you read any updated piece of literature, it now says world. But if you look at the same piece of literature, whether it be a religious book, a history book, or whatever, before they changed it, it said age. And that is very important because ages are stages that we exist in underneath a certain light frequency. So, for example, right? Everything you learned in school was a lie. In order for me to tell you this, you have to accept that. Now, one of the greatest lies that we've been told is the format of our solar system. It is not heliocentric. We are not, in the solar system where the sun is here and we're revolving around. That's a horrible lie. The truth is the sun is traveling around the galaxy at about 70,000 kilometers per hour, and it's pulling the planets behind it. So we're vortexing behind the sun. So the best analogy I could give you is like when somebody gets married and they have the cans on the back of the car and the car is pulling the can, the sun is pulling the planets. Now it takes us approximately $25,000 to travel around our galaxy. And so as we travel around our galaxy, we come into different zodiacs. So for those of you who don't know, the only difference between a zodiac and a constellation is a group of stars that form a particular pattern. A zodiac is a group of stars that form a particular pattern that affect you.
Come on. And this you believe in?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This guy's on the money. You want to play part 2 of this?
Yes,
this guy?
Because it sounds very important. So I think we need to... By the way, she's kind of odd looking. She looks like a multi-culty younger version of Judge Janine with a bigger overbite.
Yeah, that's what I said. She's Latinx or I don't know what. Yeah. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, the overbite is kind of odd.
She's super multi-culty.
Yeah.
So now what's happening is, as we're coming into Aquarius, the patterns of the stars are different, which means...
Are you just doing this to mock me now? Is that why we're listening to this?
This is educational.
Is going to be different. Physical reality is subjected to sunlight. So we're coming into a different reality. People are becoming lighter. We're becoming less dense. The molecules that make up our bodies are reconfiguring themselves so we can be more spiritual. Now, why is this important? The government is trying to hijack that. And they're trying to hijack spirituality with artificial intelligence and technology.
That's true.
So they're making you lazy. They're making you dependent on technology so that you don't use your mind, because your mind is more available to you now for the next 2,000 years than it has been for the previous 2,000 years.
Nice.
So when people say it feels like the end of the world, it is. It's the end of an age. And the way that we track that is we track what has happened on this planet for the last 6,000 years. 6,000 is important because we've been through 2,000 years in 3 different sessions. So we had the agricultural age, and then that ended. And then, we had the Stone Age. That ended. Then we had the agricultural age. That ended. Then we had the industrial age. That ended. Now we're coming into what they call the technological zenith age. And I'm warning you now, you don't want that. The all-seeing eye is AI. The only thing that can watch everybody on planet Earth at one time is a robot. So this is what facial recognition and all of that is, and Bill Gates want to give people certified chip because they are trying to digitize slavery. So I just wanted to warn y'all on that. All of that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, you don't want none of that. Smart house, smartphone, smart city, you don't want none of that. Because what happens when they tell your house not to let you out? What happens when they tell your car not to let you drive? What happens when you want to make a purchase and they tell your bank account to shut off after 6 o'clock?
Jonesy Dvorak, Baker Light Pride. Today's Teddy K, he's an OTG kind of guy.
The ultimate OTG clip. Very nice.
I thought you'd like it.
Yeah, well, it makes total sense. I mean, we had the previous guy say that we are going through essentially an operating system upgrade of our DNA, which coincides with this guy's dawning of the age of Aquarius.
The age of Aquarius.
And I'll add to that I am in regular contact with several of our producers who believe in end of times. You know, most of them Catholic, believe in end of times, and there is significant discussion going on in church circles about the end of times, that we're actually nearing that. And the mark of the beast, as we've talked about on our show, John, since the beginning, is always been the vaccine or the chip, or now there is an actual RFID micro dot. I mean, it's not just making up that part anymore. That is in actual existence. And many producers who listen are pretty convinced Fauci could be the actual Antichrist. He sure looks the part.
It would make sense. He's sure short enough.
Yeah. But what's interesting is how no one, it doesn't matter what side of the argument you're on, there's people just go nuts one way or the other. And I'm referring to the troll room, honestly. So respect everybody's ideas, please. We've got I think the first guy, he's a climate change guy in disguise or something.
Oh, that's always a possibility.
As I was thinking about it. But I've read quite a bit about the pollution being what is really killing a lot of people. The Chinese certainly have a lot of
killing everybody. Well, in China, when you have the old factories and the place is so smoggy you can't see across the street, that's a problem.
Yeah, that can't be healthy.
That was the London fog of the death fog of 1955, which set off the environmental movement in this country.
That's right. And they didn't tell anybody, and that's why they died. They didn't tell people, hey, you got to get out of your house. The London fog. Did you know that? It was Churchill. I think it was Churchill. Yeah. We've talked about this.
Remember that just sounds like
it's on the Wikipedia.
In your house and lock the doors and windows.
London fog. I thought it was Churchill. I may be wrong.
Oh, I got a short clip. If you just a little change of pace for just a little entremont before. I like to do some COVID reporting, but I got a kick out of this story. And I know this is very topical, and we're not going to get back to it.
Okay.
I want you to hear something in this 15-second clip that is kind of a head scratcher. This is Oakland Fireworks remedy.
To try to crack down on these illegal shows, Oakland Fire has these buckets throughout the city to collect fireworks. Oakland police have also been busy. A 110-pound haul of high-grade illegal fireworks confiscated near International Boulevard today.
Wait a minute. I didn't quite understand what was said here. That was very strange. Let me hear it again.
To try to crack down on these illegal shows, Oakland Fire has these buckets throughout the city to collect fireworks. Oakland police have also been busy. A 110-pound haul of high-grade illegal fireworks confiscated near International Boulevard today.
I don't understand. They have buckets where you can put your illegal fireworks in on the street?
Well, they told everyone no, come on, we're gonna bust you. We had no more fireworks, so we're gonna put a huge. It was actually more of a 55-gallon drum. Put your illegal fireworks in here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's people who are putting their illegal fireworks in these big giant buckets, don't you think every teenage kid who knows where the bucket is just going to go over there and grab as much free fireworks as he can get? This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
This is brought to you by the same
one of these. What?
Brought to you by the same people who are defunding the police.
So they show one of these buckets, got a few different things in it, but you can just tell that if somebody puts a bunch of stuff in there, it's just going to be taken out and used. I mean, it's just made this is the dumbest story I've heard for weeks on end. And they were playing it straight on the news. A couple of news reports, oh, yeah, well, those are great because now there's a place for people to put their fireworks when they don't want to use them.
People don't even throw their trash in the bin, let alone their valuable fireworks.
Is there a reporter that's got any common sense out there and understands
No. And it's
a pile of free fireworks means a pile of free fireworks that's gone out in 15 minutes by people who want to take them?
No, and I feel this to be a real problem. This belief in unicorns and everything's going to be great has got to stop. I mean, I guess people are there's got to be some delusion happening here.
I think there's a massive
delusion.
There's delusion going.
Yeah.
Delusion lurks.
And it seems to be everybody who is between, just the most recent graduate class. I mean, everyone I talk to, I think is sane. I'll say, did you go to school? And I'll say, nah, it might be classes at community college, but anyone who actually went to college, they got problems, man. And high level of privilege.
The universities and colleges of this country, in general, not all of them.
All of them, no.
In general, I don't think all of them, but in general, they're doing a piss poor job of educating anybody.
Yeah, it's true. Luckily, we have a lot of young producers, millennials, who are not on board with that train.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab.
Yeah, on No Agenda.
yes, we do have a few people to thank for show 1257. And we'll start with who do we have at the top of the list? We have
got John Robinet.
Robinet.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Robinet, he's on the top of the list. And he came in with $100. Let me move my microphone so I can read these. Brian Wolf, 7518 from Covington, Virginia.
He says this is
Douglas.
He says he calls this a devil kitty donation, 7518. Am I missing some code?
With no explanation.
Doesn't matter. I like it.
Douglas Ratcliffe in Madison, Wisconsin, 74. Happy Independence Day. Carl Lidner in 74. By the way, was our gimmick donation to celebrate.
Yes,
but July 4th.
But he says
we got 3.
But and this one doesn't even count because Carl says I attribute this contribution to the amazing picture of Adam and his hanging cup. So it wasn't even for the 4th of July. People don't love America anymore.
They're being taught that.
Yeah.
It's being taught in schools.
Man.
Yeah, we got 3. Carl Lidner's in Cary, North Carolina is one of them, and so is Sir Colin the Deaf, Dumb, Blind Knight.
Yes.
Also, then that's it. Then from now we got Matthew Golian, 6771, Tom Miller, 6666 in Schaumsburg, Illinois. Baron Sir Phenom of the Patriots Nation, 5850. Brian Furley, I think it's Furley, in Littleton, Colorado, 5510. Elena Pianetti in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. We get the Carolinians are full force.
Says this is a donation on behalf of my boyfriend, Seth Roberts, an avid listener since discovering you guys a few months ago and sharing with as many people as possible. Please de-douche him.
You've been de-douched.
Yes, and we'll add Jobs Karma at the end for him.
Lord Michael Gates, Baron of the rest of Colorado in Colorado Springs. Eric Hokel in Mulrose, Deutschland.
Yep.
$52. Sir Dancing Mike in Marysville, Tennessee, 50-50. Has a birthday coming up for
his
him.
Wife? No, it's for his wife.
Andrew Oxenham in Knoxville, Tennessee is a $50 donor, and the rest of these are $50 donors. Very short side of the show today. These are all 50s. Andrew Oxenham, Bad Wolf in Reno. Matthew Januszewski's Sir by now, I'm sure. Sir Matthew in Chicago. David Beach in San Antonio, Texas. Cassidy Eastwood in Oklahoma City. Brady Schroeder in Milton, Georgia. And that's it. Boom, done. We're out of here. Close the show.
Not quite, white man. Hold on, let me see. Cassidy had a note. I wonder if that was something I wanted to read, if I wanted to pick that out. I don't know if I don't see it. There was one other. The Sir Dancing Mike is the birthday donation from Sir Dancing Mike for his wife, who maintains a sufficient temperature to incite the generation of a visible suspension of carbon or other particles in the air. I guess that's smoking hot. Took me a second, but yes, the smoking hot. Thank you all.
Okay, it's a smoking hot reference.
Thank you, producers, so much. Also, those under $50 for anonymity. We do read the notes, and we appreciate it. A lot of people there on the subscriptions, which you can all find at Dvorak.org/NA. And please consider supporting us for the show that's coming up on Sunday. We will be here. We'll be watching everything, doing all that we can do. That's our part of the deal. Now, you produce and you know what to do. You can help us by going to
Dvorak.org/NA. Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
It's a birthday. Oh, no agenda.
July 5th, here is our birthday rundown. Cassidy Eastwood, happy birthday to her hunky husband, Zachariah Tyree Eastwood, 34 on the 7th of July. Sir Sean of Slovakia says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife. Sir Not a Dame Barra, celebrating today. Tim W.'s son Jared turns 5, happy birthday. John Kavrick, happy birthday to his son Boo Boo, a.k.a. Elliot Miller Kavrick, 16. He will turn tomorrow. Welcome to the Gitmo Nation, citizen. Baronet Sir Rogue of the Taverns, 56 on July 7th. Sir Dancing Mike, happy birthday to his smoking hot wife, Denise Delosier. Rhymes with enclosure, Delosier, there we go. 50 years old today. And Mark Bensick turns 54 on July 9th. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe.
Title changes, turn and face the slave.
Title changes.
Don't wanna be a douchebag.
We have two title changes. Sir Fish, thanks to his upping of donation status, becomes Baron Von Fish, protector of our slimy friends. And Sir Milton Cuevas becomes Baron Zacchaeus, a.k.a. the Taxman. Also, thanks to his upgrade in status, thank you so much. And that will be reflected on the peerage map, which you can find at dvorak.org/peerage.htm, if I'm not incorrect. And then we have quite the list here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people will now be joining us at the round table. That calls for Big Blades.
Here you go. Here you go.
Very nice. Up on the podium, please, Amber. There we go, Amber. Wayne Miller, Nichelle Moore, Mark Benzig, Mr. E, and John Robinet, all of you have supported the No Agenda Show in the amount of $1,000 or more, or someone might have done it for you, and that's why you now join the round table of the Knights and the Dames, and I'm very proud to pronounce the KB, Dame Amber, Protector of the Children, Lady One of the Lakes, Dame of the Triangle, Sir Mr. French, Fermentationist of Michigan, Merkward, Sir E of Silicon Valley, Sir John of the Faults, and Adam of Tourette's. For you, we've got Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys, and Chardonnay. We have French toast with blackberries and melomel, and of course, besides the ginger and gerbils, we have ginger ale and gerbils. It's a great combo. We got mutton and meat over here, so please go to noagendanation.com/rings, and Eric the Shill will ensure that you're on the next shipment of our Knight/Dame rings. They are beautiful signet rings. You get the sealing wax to impale the In the Morning No Agenda sign onto all of your personalized postage. And it comes with a beautiful certificate. And thank you very much for supporting the best podcast in the universe.
No Agenda Meetups.
Quickie report from the Midland, Texas meetup from Sir Michael. Hello. The Midland meetup happened again in spite of the new Abbott, that's Governor Abbott restrictions. Kyle, Tommy, and myself enjoyed a couple hours of untriggered conversation. We had to move the meetup to Chili's because that's classified as a restaurant. The location we used last time was a bar, and of course the bars are closed per Governor Abbott. The next meetup will be in 4 rather than 2 weeks, as I need to drive to Canada to see my smoking hot wife, who I haven't seen in 4 months since being transferred to Midland, Texas. Our 23rd wedding anniversary is July 12th. Well, I certainly hope you make it back for that. I still have no social security number, as the SSA has been closed since March 17th. I have no Texas driver's license because DPS has been closed. The pandemic scandemic is a scam, and it will not end well. If I'm able to return to the U.S., we will have the next Midland meetup Saturday, August 1st. Thank you for your courage, Sir Michael. Nice knowing you, Sir Michael. I don't know if we'll ever hear from you again. You don't even exist. You have no papers.
Your papers.
Here's the list for meetups, which are slowly coming back online. Actually, not even all that slow. Coming up on Friday is the Northeast Ohio meetup at the Lizard at 6 o'clock, with a Seattle No Agenda meetup at 7:30. Then on Saturday, Road America IndyCar doubleheader weekend that starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. The New England Summer Pool Party at 3 in the afternoon. Kill Devil Hills Outer Banks meetup at 7 p.m. And then on upcoming Sunday, that's the doubleheader, of course, the Road America IndyCar and the Alexandria, Virginia meetup, which will have a new location. Check the site for that. And also the No Agenda meetup at Mostadome, the European... Mostadome. That's in Europe, I guess, Mostadome. Where is this? Where is Mostadome? Mostadome. Oh, Malta. Huh. There you go. Malta. For all of these... and more information, we have a fantastic site that producer Daniel maintains. We really appreciate it. It's noagendameetups.com. If you don't see anything there that you like, a meetup's not near you, it's very simple. Go ahead and create one. noagendameetups.com.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the Knights and Dames. You want to be where you won't be.
I did want to mention, I think it's genius that Kanye has announced he's running for president. I think it's very smart. He is helping his friend Donald Trump. Because you know he's going to...
How's that helping?
Oh, he's going to split some of the black Democrat vote.
Oh.
As long as they don't go to Joe Biden and all you need is 5 or 6%. I think Kanye might be able to pull that off. I think it's much big. People laugh at this, but I think it's much more devious than anyone realizes.
Well, he's not the dumbest guy in the world, that's for sure.
And this way he gets to take a stand because he says no one's good, which of course is true from his perspective. I don't know. And there's another weird rumor that Tucker Carlson is being groomed for a 2024 run.
Oh, brother.
I know. Can you imagine that? That would be pretty horrible. I'd
say.
Let's see if I had anything else.
Well, I got a few things left if you want to hear them.
Sure.
I was listening to, again, Democracy Now!, one of the shows. They had this guy, representative of the Lakota Sioux Indian tribe,
Sioux.
Which apparently got some of their land back thanks to a Supreme Court decision. And so the guy shows up, of course, he's going to be on Democracy Now! Do I have that here? Well, I do have this clip. It says PBS, but I'm thinking I might be wrong. This is the Lakota Sioux on Mount Rushmore. Here we go.
Mount Rushmore would be demolished or destroyed in some way.
Yes, sir. That's a very important question that cooler heads need to think about because some people want to blow it up.
Stop the clip. So the reason, because it's so stupid that someone would bring this up, I thought it was Amy, but no, this was actually PBS. And the question came up, serious question, to destroy Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, I'll start it from the beginning.
Mount Rushmore.
I mean, but wait. We have to think about this for a minute. Destroy Mount Rushmore. How? This is unbelievable that anyone would consider this as one of the really, if anyone's not seen Mount Rushmore, I'd advise you to go look at it. It's quite the artwork. Anyway, okay, now start.
Well, it was started in 1927 and wasn't finished until 1941.
Yeah, it took 20 years.
Is this one of the 7 wonders of the world? Is that one of is it considered one of those? No, I guess not. Maybe that's just
it would be if they were rejiggering.
Mount Rushmore would be demolished or destroyed in some way.
Yes, sir. That's a very important question that cooler heads need to think about because some people want to blow it up and some people want to worship it like they're gods. And so somewhere in the middle of that, we need to have a frank truth-telling and a conciliation so we can go forward in this country together. We need to decide, should we add another face? Should we leave it alone? Because if we destroy it, that is also an act of desecration. Even the Crazy Horse Monument, though that is one of our guys, it's still an act of desecration to do something to the natural universe that wasn't designed to be that way. But right now, we need to be deciding who can we celebrate and in what manner can we celebrate them, because all of the prior statues are usually monuments to slavery, genocide, and racism. And if I'm an American European, I can't get away from that.
Thank the Lord that all of this will end in November.
Yeah, it ends in November.
It all ends in November. It really does. Just in time for the second wave of the Rona, which, as we know, is really air pollution.
No, that would be the third wave.
Oh, that's the third.
And it would also be just in time for the second impeachment.
Yes. Just to show you how crazy the political thinking is in these United States of our country that I love so much. The mayor of Miami, just listen to the words that are being said here and how it's being reported, because this is the crazy messed 15 seconds, the crazy messed up world we're living in.
For all of you watching on PBS and around the globe, welcome to World News America.
Let's celebrate Independence Day by respecting one another's right to life, liberty, and happiness. Those were the words of Miami's mayor as he imposed a nightly curfew.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as he's locking people down.
You know what's funny, though? Of course, it wasn't life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which is what it says. It was life, liberty, and happiness, which is different.
Yes. Yeah, pursuit of happiness is not good. You're not getting it. Happy, I agree.
Just pursuing. You get to pursue it all you want.
Hey, who changed that then? That's not in the preamble or whatever. It's
not. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You're allowed to pursue happiness.
Yeah,
but you're not guaranteed happiness. That's not even possible. You can be guaranteed life. You're alive. You can be guaranteed liberty. We can go do what you want, but you can't be guaranteed happiness. That's not even possible. But all these Democrats think it is.
I hate to break it to you. I'm a very happy man. I'm really
good for you.
I'm really super happy.
You pursued it, though. You didn't just get it.
No, it was just handed to me on a silver platter. I'm groovy.
Well, that could
Dogs are people, too.
Yes, we've been saying it for years, and the proof is in the advertising.
Who am I, and where did I come from?
Why do I try to herd everything?
Why are Frisbees so beautiful to me? How am I so darn intelligent?
Discover your dog's story with an Embark Dog DNA test. You can see your dog's breed mix. Check out his family tree. Screen for over 170 health conditions, and even find his relatives. Now you can become closer and take better care of him than ever before. EmbarkVet.com.
Oh my God!
So I'm trying to think, what is the point of this?
Making money?
Yeah, but
of a dog owners?
Yeah. Now I don't know if any producers have done this dog DNA test, but they've got to be selling more than just. I think it's this. It's somewhere here in this commercial here.
Discover your dog's story with an Embark Dog DNA test. You can see your dog's breed mix. Check out his family tree. Screen for over 170 health conditions.
That's what I'm thinking it is. Screen for over 170 health conditions. You're going to get a memo back. Oh, yeah, you may want to get your dog this because your dog is pre-cancerous. Your dog is actually exactly pre-deceased. And so when
he's pre-dead.
So when they say 170 people, you're about to be hoodwinked. Do as you wish, but you're about to be hoodwinked. So. About to be hoodwinked. I think that's.
So I have a clip here I want to play. I don't know what it is because I think I spelled something wrong.
Okay.
This is Guns and Rugs in Chicago, and I don't think that's what it's about.
What?
Let me guess. Maybe drugs, but we'll listen.
Oh, what? Drugs. That's what it is. Duh.
Is this a clip we want to play as the last clip of the show?
Oh, no, I don't want to play it for the last clip of the show.
All right, because we're kind of done.
Okay.
But you can play one more if you got a funny one, if you got something nice.
I got Taylor Swift. You wanted to hear her.
Yes,
hear her
Taylor. You've been
irked about this. She's irked about the census. You
have been holding on to Taylor Swift for 3 shows now, so it's time to unleash the Swiftie.
Yeah, this will be my last clip.
Hey guys, it's Taylor. I wanted to say Happy Pride Month. The Stonewall Inn has been such a symbol of rebellion in the face of oppression and such a safe place for people. I want to say thank you to everybody who works there, everyone who has worked there, everyone who's made it the place that it is. I was lucky enough to get to go and perform at the Stonewall Inn last summer when my friend Jesse Tyler Ferguson invited me to come and crash his set, and everybody there was so lovely and wonderful. We had a really good step forward recently with the Supreme Court ruling based on discrimination based on sex, but we still have so far to go in terms of equality and protections for LGBTQ people and people in the trans community. The Equality Act has still not been passed, and that needs to happen. I got my census the other day, and there were 2 choices for gender. There was male and female. And that erasure was so upsetting to me, the erasure of transgender and non-binary people. And when you don't collect information on a group of people, that means that you have every excuse in the world not to support them.
I am so sad about that.
Yeah, she's gone off the rails. But how does this sentence work? I'm going to read the sentence to you. She was invited to crash his set. Now, you either crash a set, walk out on stage.
No, that's
or not.
No.
How do you get invited to crash the set?
Let me explain to you. This is new kid talk. It's just like my album's dropping. Then it's not actually dropping on the floor. See, crash is not. Yeah, crashing the set is not. It's not what you think it is. It's basically to come on, to go there. This is hip hop talk done by a white girl, John. That's why it's not understandable.
Oh,
got it.
Let me write this down so I don't make this mistake
ever again, and put dropping your record in there as well. Make sure we do that right. Coming up, we have end of show mixes from Gus Augustine. We'll kick off Gus Augustine, which is more than just a mix. Also, Jesse Coy Nelson, Jared Mata, and the Grumpy Old Ben's coming up on NoAgendaStream.com right after this very program, known as That Stupid Radio Program, just for some. Coming to you from Opportunity Zone 33 in the capital of the Drone Star State, Austin, Texas, FEMA Region Number 6 in the governmental maps. If you're looking for us until, I should say, please remember us at Dvorak.org/NA until Thursday in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where there's some sort of protest taking place on the freeway, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return here on Sunday. Hope to see you there. Dvorak.org/NA. Until then, adios, mofos, and such.
Out of my rectal vault, I just picked me a stat. You slaves are having too much fun, and that is that. You think the lockdowns were bad, the worst is yet to come. Worst is yet to come, so slaves, put on your masks. We'll jack up all the stats with our creative math. Wait till the fall when the cold wind blows. You'll hide behind your drapes and wait till we cook up that vaccine. There will be no escape. The worst is yet to come, so slaves, get back inside. The worst is yet to come, your freedom's nullified. Your freedom's nullified. I'm gonna make you obey. It's social suicide. Keep your ass 6 feet away. It was so easy to get you to fall in line. One little word from us and now we're seen as divine. Wait till we get you to hate your friends. Wait till you forget their face. And wait till you realize this never ends. Life's gone without a trace. The worst is yet to come, and slaves, won't it be fine? The worst is yet to come, your ass is gonna be mine. Your ass is gonna be mine. Slaves, you're already mine.
It's about the health and well-being of the American public.
Then this COVID Christ, deceptively nasty disease.
It's about keeping other people safe.
Back.
Keep your distance.
The move.
Wear a mask.
To the ventilator challenge, putting on the brakes. We must use this moment now the vertiginous drop in GDP. We're waiting as if between the flash of lightning and the thunderclap.
Listen to the experts. Testing. It's not just about you. Testing. Limit the size of crowds. Testing. How are we doing it? Testing. What are we doing? Testing. It's about keeping other people safe.
I'm in awe of the problem-crunching fury.
Wear a mask. Tell us the unvarnished truth.
Dexamethasone, the world's first demonstrably life-saving treatment.
Kung Fu.
Emphatically right.
China. Kung Fu. China. 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 COVID-19. China. Explain. COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19.
Follow the science. Listen to the experts. Wear a mask.
Be radical.
Wear a mask.
Be radical. It's time. Big, long-term stake.
Testing.
It's time. Testing. Emphatically right. Deceptively nasty.
COVID-19.
Right. Deceptively nasty.
COVID-19.
I doubt seriously that any vaccine will ever be 100% protected. The best we've ever done is measles, which is 97 to 98% effective.
Is that going to get us to herd immunity?
Unlikely, and that's one of the reasons why we have to make sure we engage the community as we're doing now, to get community people to help us to show that it's safe and that it's effective, and it's for the good of them as individuals and in society to take the vaccine. So we have a lot of work to do because, as you well know, there is a general anti-science, anti-authority, anti-vaccine feeling among some people in this country, an alarmingly large percentage of people, relatively speaking.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. I have a record that is second to none.
Kanye West says he's running for president. The music mogul made the announcement in a tweet. If West is serious, it will be tough for him to get on the ballot, even as an independent this late in the race.
I have decided in 2020 to run for president.
Mofo. Dvorak.org/NA.
Stop the hammering!